a screen. Her smile, it shines so bright. She's a queen with every scene. In the morning or the night, recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. Her confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. With every like and every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. Her confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. Every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong.
Battles got power, Florabella stands tall. Every drip, every drop, watch the haters fall. Channel sharp as thorns, ain't taking no mess. Scroll through her feet, feel that queen's finesse. Vines tangle tight, but Flora breaks free. Roots so deep, can't mess with her tree. From the mud she rises, roses from the dirt. Every comment section she lays down hurt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. From the garden green to the concrete wall, Florabella, unstoppable nature's child. Leaves whisper secrets, she's the loudest shout. From the channel buzzing, she never backs out. Seed of strength, through seasons she grows. In the face of doubt, her spirit glows. Cameras ain't a limit, she branches out. Thorns in her crown, she wears it no doubt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless.
Okay. What is going on, everybody? What's going on? All right, so you guys see the title. Tonight we're doing more so of a true crime twist. A lot of video for this video because the trial happened. You guys know that was a very bizarre trial. There's a lot of bizarre material. Okay, I got my hood on today because it's True Crime Night series. This is not body cam today. We're going to be looking at the cold, deep, and scary cases. The cases that you see on Investigation Discovery. You know, the ones that just leave your jaw dropping. This is definitely one of them. But for some reason, when this was all going on, I was like, you know, living underneath a rock. So tonight we're going to really ease our way into this story. I got plenty of video. I got plenty of news articles and things like that, you know, primary sources and things. We got some court TV footage. and all of that. So if you guys can just do me a favor and hit the like button. Um, the rebirth says your mic is cutting in and out. We can't hear you no more. Oh, you know why? Because look at where my mic is. I don't even know if it's my webcam that's sounding funny like that, but I had to take this off because my little gremlin of a cat, which I love, um, just decided to be a whole gremlin. So give me a minute, guys. I'm just going to plug this in so you guys can hear me on my webcam instead of just on this particular one. So just give me a minute, guys. Excuse me for the little bit of dust that I'm displaying right now. I'm going to give you guys some little bit of intro music just so you're not sitting here staring at me all bored and stuff. So give me 1 second.
Florabella on my screen, her smile it shines so bright. She's a queen with every scene, in the morning or the night. Recipes and good vibes flow, every video a gem. Her confidence it grows and grows, we're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong.
Thank you guys so much for your patience. It really only takes a few seconds to tweak some things that are messed up. I can see that my audio is operating correctly, but if you guys can't hear me, just let me know and I will fix the audio again. Now we are in our true crime nighttime series. Yes, we're doing the Sarah Boone case. What is going on, Louis? I watched the whole thing in court. Oh, you went in person? Going through a battle, so this helps get my mind out. Well, I'm glad I could be a good distraction. Now, this is a very interesting case. So before we get into it, I'm going to give you guys a quick intro on this case. And now, bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get into storytelling mode. You know, instead of just making this like a monotone presentation about a case, we're going to do some storytelling. Okay, so on February 24th, 2022, 42-year-old Jorge Torres suffocated after being zipped in a suitcase. 5'2" and 103 pounds of flesh lay rotting in the most unusual place. He got there surprisingly by someone he loved. The following day, she was arrested and a frenzy surrounded the strangely gruesome deletion. Now, you guys know I gotta hit the what do you call it? I have to hit the censorship. So if it sounds a little odd, just let me know. And it begs the question: who decides who deserves to be alive? The story of Sarah Boone and Jose Torres was not a tale of love and loss. It's a tale of two people who shouldn't have been together. And I know it might be harsh to say that, but sometimes we force relationships and situations that are really just not healthy. They're full of toxicity. Between the two of them, there's a history of domestic violence, strangulation, and substance abuse. Prior to the passing of Jorge, there had been multiple arrests for domestic violence in their household. Multiple arrests for, again, strangulation, but also he, in particular, was arrested for abusing her. And even after all she claimed he did to him, she'd be there every time to pick him up from jail. Now, on the night of Jorge's passing, Sarah claims that it was part of a harmless joke. But the videos from the night of the deletion quickly cleared up any speculation the police had regarding Sarah's involvement and her motives. So we're going to go ahead and start. I do have, to start this story, the audio and video of her talking to him while he was in the suitcase. Now, the person who's going to be delivering this information to us is the forensic investigator. Now, she went through Sarah Boone's phone and she was able to find video of her talking to Jorge while he's in the suitcase. Now, we can only assume that this was right around the time that he was getting ready to pass away, right? He's begging for air. He's asking her to help him, saying that he can't breathe. And she's sort of speaking to him in a cynical tone. So let's listen to that here. Now, I do want to give viewer discretion because it is sort of disturbing to hear somebody talking about doing the things that she did, and specifically recording it. You know, who records themselves doing a thing like this to somebody? Hey, cynical one. Yeah, there was DV involved, John H. And you know that's what sort of makes it complicated because someone like her, were it not for the videos, they would say, well, you know, was he abusing her? They've been arrested a few times for this, right? Both of them. She had been arrested at one point because the police believed that she, you know, put her hands around his neck. I'm not going to use the word for that because I know that can get you in trouble, and I might have already said it. But, you know, the police believed that that's what she did, and so they arrested her at one point for that. So let us get into some video regarding this case. Again, this is the testimony from the forensic investigator because she was able to recover these videos from Sarah's phone.
Sarah. For everything you've done to me. Sarah. For everything you've done to me. Sarah. Fuck you. Okay. Sarah. Fuck you. Sarah. Stupid.
So again, viewer discretion, but you can hear him. He's calling out to her. He's saying, Sarah, I can't breathe. You know, this is a pretty disturbing video because it is the last moments of Jorge's life, as we now know.
Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Sarah, I can't fucking breathe, babe. Seriously. Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me. Sarah. 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 Sarah, I can't breathe, babe. That's on you. Sarah, I can't breathe. It's on you. Sarah.
Now, keep in mind, we're going to get into the interrogation footage of this because, again, this case was very bizarre. You know, she initially tells police that they were playing, that it was a lighthearted night, that there was nothing really going on. You know, so when they find this video, they're almost like, you literally said you were playing, it was an accident. And in this video, you're taunting, right? That you're claiming that this was a night of happiness and you just fell asleep because you were too drunk or whatever the case was. But you're saying this to him. So the police are just like, this doesn't add up here.
Real ransom. Might want to give it for it extra. Because I got this. Sarah. Real ransom. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe. Oh, that's what I feel like when you chewing on me. Sarah, Fuck you.
Please, Sarah.
Yeah.
No, I will say she does sound intoxicated. That's what I will say, because she says, "Yeah, that's how it feels when you cheated on me." That doesn't make a lot of sense, right? First, it was about him putting hands on you. Now it's because he cheated on you. I don't know.
Okay.
For the record, that was img_1062.mov, now publishing 1063, same respective file name.
Sarah.
You guys heard that. Now they're going to ask the forensic investigator, like I said, some questions about how she recovered the videos and things like that.
No other questions of this witness?
Any cross-examination?
Good afternoon, ma'am. I believe you stated on direct that you were called to the scene and you were asked to do your analysis out there. Is that correct?
At least a download.
Download. What type of phone was this?
An Apple iPhone XS.
And how were you able to get into the phone, for lack of a better word?
I was provided with the phone's passcode.
With an Apple phone, without being given that passcode, are you able to get in an Apple phone?
Maybe not necessarily unlock the phone, even though that is an option through some of our advanced tools that is supported. But it can have the ability to download the phone even in a locked state and pull 80–85% of that data.
So when you guys be thinking that you delete things or that you got rid of something on your phone, it's not really true, right? They're still able to recover most of that data. They don't need a passcode. They don't need any of your information. You know, that's how advanced a lot of these tools are. So, you know, when you record evidence or you save a video or something, like, you literally are creating a footprint, a digital footprint of what you've done. You know, that's how a lot of people have been getting caught up. Rappers, other people who talk about their issues and things that have occurred online, because they're getting caught up. That's what happened to her in this situation. Let's continue.
Is it a much easier process when you have the code?
It's quicker, yes.
And how were you provided that code?
I believe either through Detective Copsel or Connolly at the time, or I may have asked Miss Boone just to reconfirm the passcode.
And did she give you the passcode?
Yes, somebody did, yes.
Now, on the first exhibit that went up, or when you're talking about the communications or the identifying factors of the phone, one of the things that were identified is dates and times. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. Also, you said it would tell you if the source was incoming or outgoing. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And then you said it could identify either by phone number or name. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. On the examples that you gave us, who is the identifying name as to the outgoing on this phone?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Who is the identifying name for the outgoing text or calls on this phone?
I think in some of the line items that were shown above, it was just listed as a phone number.
Was there ever a name listed?
A physical name, possibly in other line items. But in this, and again, in those excerpts, it's just by phone number.
Okay. Did you ever see the name Brian Boone?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you see the name Brian Boone?
I believe in one of the iCloud or accounts that was logged into the phone, there was an associated email address.
Taking that, was it any other place where you would see in a different name as to the outgoing, other than Brian Boone?
Again, there might have been other names listed in other portions of it. But again, in those excerpts, it was just either by phone number or, again, with the Apple iPhone listing, the iCloud account.
Do you have a copy of the exhibit up there?
No, not on me.
Can we get that pulled up, please?
Now they're going into the nature of where her messages and videos and things like that are going. Now, as I read, she called 911 herself. She said that her ex was deceased, right? So she didn't try to come out and say, she didn't know anything about how he got there or anything. She said straight up, we were playing a game. I put him in the suitcase, then I went to sleep and fell asleep. I went to my room and fell asleep. And when I woke up, he was passed away, okay? Why would you call your ex? Why would you be sending him videos, right? How is he more important for you to be reaching than the police? Yeah, it's her baby daddy for sure, her child's father. She called him. She was sending him messages. She told him before she told anybody else. Now, before we get too caught on this one here, we're going to move into the interrogation because I really want you guys to hear what Sarah says happened right after she was, questioned by the police, called the police, whatever. I want you guys to hear what was fresh on her mind, after the crime happened, because this trial is happening 4 years later. Arguments can be made now. The lawyers could have found other information and evidence, and you hear in cross-examination that he's asking her about who it was that she was in contact with, and it was her child's father. Now, if you guys could do me a favor while I'm putting this video up and hit the like button, I would so much appreciate it. All right, so let's get into this interrogation. This is right after the crime happened, and there's a reason why the police don't wait years or even months to talk to people who are involved in crimes and things, because they need to hear what's fresh on a person's mind, right? Sometimes long before they go to court, the person who was involved in the case will have a change of story. There'll be different theories that come out. More information starts to be revealed that can be questioned later in court. So let's hear right after she called the police about this and is being questioned.
This morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So so he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So basically you're getting hit and then, you get a mark from it. You'll get bruising. Someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little.
I haven't laid a hand on him.
Okay.
Also too, he fell off my son's bike.
Okay.
So I don't know, and he's notorious for running into the wall or the hall tree. So why?
Now, from me hearing this immediately, right? She says, well, he fell off my son's bike and he's known for running into walls. I mean, it sounds like in a very unintelligent way of trying to basically, pretend like you don't know that you were putting hands and feet on this man. Now, she's sounding very guilty, but like I mentioned in my, introductory message about this case, her and Jorge had the police called on them several times to the apartment. That's most of what their neighbors talked about, right? The fact that the police had to be called to the home. Some of each time they had their chance of being, or not their chance, but their time of being arrested for domestic violence. One time the police arrested her because there was evidence of her putting her arms around his throat, right? So this is, violence against each other is a normal thing in her relationship with this man at this point. And so it does sound like she's trying to like fluff the fact that they put hands on each other. And she said, no, we haven't been getting into it. It sounds very guilty. If you look at her body language, she's trying to say like, oh no, I didn't do nothing. Right? Let's continue.
Okay. What about the scratches? Because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on like the back of his neck, like kind of like going, but it's like going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
And they're all recent. Like they occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up to when he was.
In all honesty, we have not gotten into it.
Okay.
That's why, like, the only thing I thought you guys were going to ask me about, which I was going to be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I've had my son over the house too, so.
Well, your son was there when? When was he last there?
Oh, gosh.
From my understanding, he was there like last Tuesday?
I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week, so.
Well, we're talking about Sunday. Yeah. We're just talking about what occurred Sunday. Because like I said, the injuries they occurred within that time period.
So you're talking about day before yesterday?
Sunday leading into Monday. You called us yesterday at 1, but the incident, you guys were painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So.
Oof. Now you can tell, like, her eyes are darting around the room. She's like, nope, no. She doesn't look like an innocent person in the face. Now this video is a little grainy, but look at her face right there. Her lips are pursed. They're very thin, so you can't see much. But her lips are pursed. She's like this. A minute ago, she's darting around the room like, oh, no. I don't know nothing about that. Hey, we used to be scuffling all the time, but that I don't know about. And they're telling her, these marks are fresh. They came from the night of you guys' argument. That it could only be. They're a day or two old, and you got into this altercation in whatever situation with him a day or two ago. So it's fresh. It was when you guys were supposedly horse playing. So again, when people lie like this about crimes that they've committed, her story is going to change. This is one part of her, or this is one version of her story, right? That she's saying, if there's any scratches, it was sex, and that's what I thought you guys were going to actually, view about. But yeah, so you can go and watch something else. You don't have to be here. Like, you guys are weird. People talk about cases from 30 years ago. But again, this is not a normal person. You guys are the weird lint lickers and butt crack sniffers who come and follow people around YouTube. Okay, we're here to do true crime. So if you don't want to be here, you can leave. But you can just see her body language. It all doesn't really make any sense. Her lips are pursed. Her eyes are darting around the room. She just doesn't sound truthful. She's finding all types of excuses for how good for kicking him out. Yeah, Joan Jenkins. People come here. It's like, okay, no one cares. Nobody in my chat today that's watching this cares about any beef or nonsense or things that you feel about me. We're here to talk about true crime. So if you don't want to do that, just leave. Do you like enchiladas? I love enchiladas, Brian. I actually really loved enchiladas. You want to see, she started smiling in court when the bat was talked about. Oh, trust me, I have that footage too. I just want you guys to hear what she's going to say about what happened, because it changes. And people who lie like this, their stories change and change and change. And you get so many different versions. And how are you supposed to decide which one is the truth? I don't know what that, I don't know what you're talking about, paradox. I'm gonna go ahead and yank you out of the chat. Come in lit lickers and butt crack sniffers. Yeah, they come in here lit licking and acting all weird and stuff. Like, we're trying to talk about cases. Nobody's here for your drama or nonsense. Enjoy the show. Get some popcorn. Get a snack. Get a nice little cup of pop. If you need some tea, some chamomile, get you ready for bed. Get that. But we're here to talk about true crime tonight, so don't come in here being all weird. But you can just see her. She doesn't look like an innocent person. Too many stories and things jumping around. So let's continue to hear this. I want you guys to pay attention to the details of what she says happens, because it's going to shift. It's going to shift very much.
So we're talking about Sunday and then into Monday.
I'm thoroughly confused because we had a good time sitting on the back porch, having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes, and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles, and play, and listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. Like, I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
So she's mind-blown, right? Nobody laid a hand on anybody. This is what she's saying. This is 2 days after she calls the police and says, I went to sleep. I had no idea he couldn't get out. He was in the suitcase. We were joking around. This is what she's trying to say at this moment. Yes, make sure you guys double tap the screen on the way and hit the like button for me, guys. We're here to have some fun, to have some conversation. Obviously, much respect to those who've deceased. Rest in peace to Jorge Torres. But we're here to cover the crime because some people just, they can really surprise you. And this case was extremely surprising to people. What is going on, Mochavelli 16? All right, welcome to the show. So let's continue. She's saying she just has no idea what's going on. Look at this face right here. Look at that face. That is not the face of an innocent woman. Hold on. Would y'all trust her? Would y'all trust her with your last $20 bill while she's around? No, I don't think she... her mannerisms, her body language doesn't give trustworthy. It gives that she's trying to conceal something, that she's trying to put up a story or something. Thank you so much, Paradox. I appreciate you. All right, let's continue.
He also had, like on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on like his head and skull.
I have no idea.
As if something hit him.
I
considered
not
force
touched him.
trauma.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
Then how would he get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your fingernails?
No.
Okay. Are you willing to let us
Absolutely.
swab underneath your fingernails?
Go for it.
Okay.
I have no idea, and I don't want to seem out of sorts, but I have no idea. We had a good day. It was a good day. We've had good days.
Y'all see how she's lying through her damn teeth, by the way? She sounds so like, we had a good day. I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him. Giving Dr. Umar Johnson. I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. She got to give it to you 3 times so you can believe her. She's trying to sell the lie. She has to keep repeating it because that's how she believes you will believe what she's saying. If she keeps saying it, if she gives it with conviction, if she tells it with, whatever, then you'll believe her. No, she did not poison. She put that. It's so like crazy how you can do that to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like put them in a suitcase. That is such a low level. Like that's low. You don't do that to a person. She put him in a suitcase, claimed it was a joke. And the police really didn't understand why she would leave him in a suitcase. But after they go through her phone and investigate some more, they find really disturbing video that I believe we saw. I might play it again just so you guys can hear it because this is what she's saying happened. So we're going to go back there. Yeah, left him there overnight. Now, but we're going to go back to the video because I really want you guys to hear that. It's only a few minutes, so it's not going to be too repetitive. But I want you guys to juxtapose what she's saying here with the video that the forensic investigator found in her phone. She definitely seems guilty. Her body language with her hands open, like she's trying to cover over, convince them, subconscious. Exactly. She's sounding like, please believe me, please, because she don't even believe herself, right? She knows what she did. She knows what she did. I feel like her ex has a crazy amount of patience for her because he lived right by her and took care of their kids when she didn't feel like it. Can't imagine getting a call from an ex like that. Yeah, it's weird, to have that lack of boundary. You're with a new man that you live with. Your kid be staying there with you guys sometimes, and you're calling your ex as soon as you basically delete your man. It's a tricky boundary. I don't believe it was a healthy boundary. Not Dr. Umar. Oh yeah, she had to repeat it for you 3 times so you could believe her. And left him in there overnight. Absolutely. But as a grown man, why the hell are you playing in suitcases? Now let me tell you something. I don't know how she got him to get in there. Because from what we see in the video that she's recording, she sounds like, oh, this is what you get. You used to put your hands around my throat. You used to, what do you call it? What did she say? This is how I felt when you were cheating on me. She was like doing her little woman scorn thing. So it was definitely, I don't know how she got him in there. Maybe she coerced him. Now she sounds drunk as hell. So if she was drunk as hell and he was drunk as hell, he might have been like, oh, this is just a joke. Now, if you guys didn't hear my intro, make sure you guys catch the playback for me too, just to get them watch hours. But in the beginning, I talked about it. He was 103 pounds, 5 feet 2 inches. So it was probably like, it was probably funny to them that he could even fit in the suitcase. So she could have manipulated him into getting him in there by acting like it was a joke. And then when she got him in there, it was really nefarious. Now, some other people who are much, much more skilled at information gathering than myself talked about this case. And it was kind of, there was some evidence that she had a fascination with deletions that happened to people and they were put in suitcases. She made a post at one point about a child in one, and it wasn't in a healthy way, and that got her in some trouble as well. So I don't know if it was like a fascination of hers to see how that works out, to see how that works for someone who's alive, but you heard her. She said, no, we were just drinking some wine and having a good time and goofing around, and then I went to sleep and he stayed in there. Like, I don't see somebody voluntarily just chilling in a suitcase and expecting you to walk away and never come back. Like, that's not funny. That's not even remotely funny. And he obviously couldn't get in based off of the video. So let's listen to a few more minutes of this, maybe like 2 more minutes. I'm trying to keep it on the beginning so that we can jump back and forth to different videos and things that we got. So I'm going to play a few more minutes, and then I'm going to go back to that video of him in the suitcase begging for his life from her. Hey, Roxy. Hey, Gito Planet. He says guilty. Didn't even watch, just got it, but I can feel it. Oh, yeah. Trust me. When you hear her talk, she doesn't give innocent.
Days lately.
But hey, people
even our jobs and life in general and ex-wives and everything. It's been good. Like, I don't even know where this is coming from.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't even know. The last physical was probably, you said, I think, a month ago? Where you got the injury, right? You said that was a month ago?
A few weeks, give or take, yeah.
A few weeks. That was the last, physical altercation between the two of you? You said a month ago he hit you with a curtain rod.
Yeah, with a curtain rod. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
Curtain rod? So violence and putting hands on each other was, again, a very regular part of their relationship. Yeah, she doesn't have a believable or an honest demeanor at all. At all, Gito. Like, to me, it sounds like she's lying. Everything she says sounds like a lie. It sounds like she's covering. Some of the details she gives are just so irrelevant, and it tells you she's trying to conceal something. So, let's continue.
Wow.
Like, we've been good. I don't know if, it's since the last time he got out of jail. Like, we've been good. He's been having his classes and seeing his probation officer, who's amazing. So
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
The probation officer,
No, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
I've been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me. So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. And I don't know if you talked to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So.
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, there hasn't, the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago, so.
Give or take.
Right, so what do you mean by he comes after you? Like,
he gets belligerently drunk.
mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the pictures and the videos that I have taken.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point.
Again, why would you point the police to your cell phone when you've recorded evidence of your guilt on there? Now, nothing is ever gone, okay? iPhones even now have the feature of recently deleted. So you could delete something, but iPhone is going to keep it, and it tells you for an additional 30 days. And you can even extend how long did you keep a recently deleted photo. So that should tell you it's never really gone. They wouldn't be able to do that if your data was gone when you deleted it. It's not. Nothing you do on your phone is private. Now, I'm not telling this to us like, oh, she should have concealed it better. But what kind of doofus are you to think that you're going to record yourself doing such a gruesome thing to somebody and delete it and it's just poof, gone? Like, not smart at all, no foresight, just evil, down in her core, okay? Now, you guys can say whatever about Jorge Torres because there was people saying certain things about him and how he appeared and his history of drug use and stuff. He didn't deserve to die in a suitcase. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous. She's definitely guilty for the simple fact that he was begging to be let out. And she was antagonizing him while drinking booze. Yeah, you can hear how she sounded in it. She sounded drunk. She sounded like loosey-goosey, like, oh, yeah, this is how I felt when you was over there effing the nose. That's how she was sounding. Like, she had too much to drink. Like, it was about jealousy, about revenge, about exacting some level of control over him, all of it. It was very weird. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. I haven't been in a lot of situations where my partner is harming me. But the one time I wasn't going to pick nobody up after they did that stuff. She picked him up and bailed him out every time. Every time. And it comes across the wrong way. Now, I know a lot of times with victims and things, they can have a very strong pull into the relationship. Like, it's very easy for them to be manipulated by their partner. But that's not what it appears to be here. There was also cases where the police observed that she had hurt Jorge, but nothing much amounted to it. They didn't take it to court or anything. They liked through the phone. Yeah, it's so weird. She was so drunk, she didn't remember taking the video, I bet. Hey, that's very possible too. They looked through the phone. Oh, yeah, and she told them about it. So you're hearing in the interrogation, she says, did you guys look at all the videos and pictures of my phone? Wow. She probably didn't think they were going to find that video. There was no violence from him, wasn't proven. Yeah, ever. At all. Like, sometimes they were both arrested because, it was possible that they were both the ones involved in it. There was evidence maybe from neighbors that they were both going back and forth. I'm now trying to make him seem like a bad person to cover the fact that she let him pass in a suitcase. Yeah. So I'm going to play that really quick for you guys again because you guys just heard this. We just watched it. It's fresh in our minds. Okay? She says, we were playing. It was fun. It was nothing. I fell asleep after we had such a great night together. And boom, I woke up and he was deceased. Right? That's what she claims happened. But the audio tells a different story. So let's get into it again one more time.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you. Fuck you. Stupid.
So you hear that. She sounds hammered. And he's saying, Sarah, help me. Like he's begging for his life. This is so sad, you know, that this was his last moments. Now she just got done telling the police, we had a great night. We had some drinks. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know how he got those scratches. I don't know how he got hurt. But this is from the night of him passing away.
Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it on. Sarah, I can't fucking breathe, babe. Seriously. Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me. Sarah. 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 Sarah, I can't breathe, babe. That's on you. Sarah, I can't breathe. It's on you. Sarah. Real or ransom? I want to give it for it extra. Because I got this. Sarah. Real or ransom?
So he sounds panicked, right? He sounds scared. He says he can't breathe, and she's laughing, right? This is why I said she was intoxicated. Now, does that excuse anything that she's doing? No. But she was under the influence. You know, it seems like to be a regular way that they treated each other. All right, let's continue.
Sarah, I can't breathe, babe. Oh, that's what I feel like when you cheat on me. Sarah, fuck you. I can't breathe, Sarah. Yeah. You should probably shut the fuck up.
For the record, that was IMG_1062.MOV, now publishing 1063, same respective file name.
Now, they recovered these videos. They thought that yelling was from the video at first. Yeah, that was. That was from the video. Oh, no. In the background, that might have been somebody just being loud in my house. They have no respect, and they're always gaming as well. But you can just hear that, right? This is what he's saying. I'm just going to play the last few seconds of that because she's laughing at him as she does this.
Got it. Sarah. Real or Sarah. Sarah. I can't breathe, babe. Oh. That's what I feel like when you cheat on me. Sarah. Fuck you. Yeah.
Now, how do you relate him suffocating in there to how you feel when somebody cheats on you? Leave them. Right? This is why I said this is like some people have no business being together. Right? Some people become horrible when they get together. They have such a toxic dynamic. Trust me, I know what that's like. This is one of those situations. Look how she's talking to him. Look how she's treating him. She doesn't sound like somebody who's just so afraid of him. She's telling him, be quiet. I don't want anybody to hear you screaming. Right? If this was something she felt was okay to do, why would she be telling him to be quiet? You know? She's obviously drunk. But she knows what she's doing for the most part here. I have some claustrophobia because, yeah, and honestly, being in a tight space like that, claustrophobia or not, like, you're not going to want to be smushed up like that. That's a very inhumane way to be treating somebody. So I'm going to go ahead and move on for that because I don't want to disturb anybody too much. Now, that was extremely disturbing to watch. So trigger warning in case you guys are watching the playback, that there's sort of a lot of material like this where she talks about her role in the case, and she just doesn't sound like an innocent person. Now, let's go back to what she said to the police in her interrogation, because at the end of the day, that's what sort of, set things off the ground for the investigators in trying to figure out what really happened. What did Sarah do to him? Why? Right? What are her justifications? And what is she really going to go far and start telling them? Is this the suitcase lady? Yes, it is. It is. Let's continue, guys, though.
I started documenting everything.
Okay.
And do me a favor and hit the like button for me. I would, genuinely appreciate it. We're here covering the true crime stories, and we're going to do our deep dive, right? That's why I chose the nighttime for this one. So let's continue.
You all will see in my pictures, bloody fingers, split foreheads, he split my nose. I've got this.
Right.
I don't know, Brian told you about it, where I had to have almost I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really bad where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards for them to tend to it. From him poking me in the back of the leg.
Right.
So it's.
Then why are you still with him?
Everybody asks me that. When I tell you guys this, I really love him. Like I do. And I feel like I can.
The reason why they're asking her that is because she started this off by saying, oh, we had such a good time. We had wine. We hadn't put our hands on each other in a month. Everything was going great. I just don't understand how this happened. That's what she was trying to say. And now she's trying to paint him out to be some violent, aggressive man who's always charging at her, attacking her, harming her, right? She seems extremely manipulative. Now look at the waterworks coming on. That's all right, John H. Thank you for coming, though. She's not going to get off because the video shows lack of empathy. She was laughing. Well, she's already been charged. But I found this case to be extremely interesting. Very bizarre case. One of those cases that people are going to be talking and learning from this 50 years from now. Very bizarre behavior. So let's continue.
I can help him. Like I feel like I could help him, which I did because he came a really long way from where he was in Philadelphia to moving back to here and to dealing with everything else that he's been dealing with. Mm-hmm. I've really helped him. I've bailed him out of jail, 3 times. I've gone to every single hearing and every single arraignment, everything that I did for him. Gone to see all his public defenders, go to the state. I've gone to the state.
No, what she's not saying here, and I wonder if she's going to clarify that this is for other cases, but she put cases on him and then never followed through. So, essentially she called the police, said he hit her, and then picked him up from jail and never followed through with things. So she was also part of the legal troubles that he was going to. He'd been arrested several times related to a case with her. Okay, now I do think she sort of abused her privilege at some point with this case. Oh yeah, she's extremely narcissistic. We're gonna see all those traits from her as she testifies. We're gonna get into that because that was crazy. Just insane compared to what she says in this first interview. So let's continue. And thank you to the 128 people who are here with me today. If you guys could bless me with a like on the video, I would appreciate it. All right, let's continue.
I did everything for him because I'm trying to help him because I had hope in him. And he was trying. He was really trying. And then he starts to think about things and I think he gets overwhelmed. And then it's like, next thing I know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is going to go. So I'm going to go upstairs and read a book, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to do something else. Where I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you
look at the, and the cop, it almost looks like from this angle, and the way his lips are pursed and the blurriness of the video, it looks like he's smirking because it's like, damn, you're really going to tell this tall tale knowing damn well, this is not what happened. We have evidence, but we're still going to ask you your side so that you can hang yourself, so that you can give us the false information and we can show what we have and prove you're a liar, right? That's what they're doing essentially when they're interrogating people. So it looks like he is saying, you are effing kidding me. Yeah. Like he got his nose, his nose pointed down, lips are pursed, your lips are pursed because people be holding back what they're trying to say, what they're thinking. That's what it looks like. It looks like he's looking at her like, just lying through your damn teeth with no shame And that's why she keeps looking for approval, right? This is the, This is the approval. She's searching for approval in their faces, in their body language, and they're not giving her anything. They're just listening, right? And this is what throws some of them off, and they start scrambling for information, start trying making stuff up, and just flat out lying. Yeah, I believe that too, King Rooster. If there isn't already one, I believe that she's gonna get one too because all of this was just so bizarre. But let's continue.
Have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself where I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things more prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that. So he would literally, not literally, but have smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink. His job broke his heart, and it made me sad because he had so much pride in his job. And the store that he took care of so much totally went downhill. Mm-hmm. And that broke his heart because he had put so much work and effort into fixing it up. And his manager was awful and basically gave up on all of the employees. So I think that had a huge bearing on why he would drink so much. His ex-wife is bonkers. Mm-hmm. She was all over him all the time. Send me money, send me money, send me money.
Oh, she's bonkers, right? The ex is bonkers, but you're not, even though you put him in a damn suitcase. You know, like it'd be the audacity for me. And notice how when she said, I don't want to drink, her voice got all high because she was lying out her tush. She was lying out her tush. It was a bold-faced lie at that. We heard her slurring her words as she recorded her boyfriend begging for his life. Right? We know you like to drink, and we know you like a nice, tall glass of whatever it is you be on. Mukavelli says, question y'all, do you think she has a real level of guilt? I think that she probably feels guilty because people found out what her real motive was. Like, you know how a lot of times people be ashamed of things more than they really feel like more than their conscience really feels guilty. That's what I feel like. I feel like she's probably feeling bad that she wasn't able to manipulate people into believing that this was an accident. I think that was her goal. I think her goal was to do this to him. It was her ultimate way of controlling him, right? Taking his life. And her goal was to convince people that he deserved this. He earned this by how he treated her, by what he did to her. It wasn't about his life. It was about how he hurt her, right? And if you can think about somebody's life ending in that way, like that's crazy enough. But because she's so self-involved and narcissistic, she didn't even see how crazy she sounds, talking about cheating while he's literally gasping for air in a suitcase. Just very, very bizarre situation with her. If she's a narcissist to the bone, then I don't think she has any guilt. No, I don't think she even has the capacity to feel guilty, but to say capacity, then people start to think that you're trying to let somebody off. And I'm not going to give her that. I think she might be a little bit pathological, if anything. So let's continue.
How can I send you money when I don't have a job? And he's still trying to take care of me and Lucas by paying a bill here or there, getting some groceries. So he always had something on his mind, which is why, again, I got the puzzles and the bank to try to get him off of it so we don't have a drink, or he doesn't have a drink. So when you all see my phone, you can see all of the damage he has done to me and the videos of him smashing my television because he's belligerently drunk. Where most of the time, I just don't want to be there. And I try to help him. I try to calm him down. Mm-hmm. Eventually, he just passes out.
Well, yesterday it made it sound like you guys were just drinking like a glass or two. Like, yeah, you obviously had the bottle, but you told me on recording like that you were
Yeah, and her narrative, the thing that the detectives are trying to point out here is that her narrative is shifting for whatever it is that, they believe in the moment. When they started telling her about the injuries and like things that didn't make sense about how he looked when he was found, she says, well, I didn't do it. I didn't touch them. We hadn't fought in a month. We hadn't done anything in a month. I'm about to kill this dude. Um, we haven't fought in a month. We haven't. I haven't put my hands on him. I didn't put my hands on him. Remember, she repeated that 3 times so that we can believe that she truly didn't put her hands on him, right? But as soon as they said, well, that's not possible because he has injuries that are consistent with having happened on the night of his passing, right? And now she has to say, well, no. He came after me. He started attacking me. He was belligerently drunk. I have evidence of him smashing my belongings and making my life unsafe. Okay, but you just told us not even a couple minutes ago that you guys were having a grand old night. You had a little bottle of wine. You don't understand how he was passed away until they told you he had injuries from the day of. Yeah, she had the audacity. She had the audacity, world's existential. She literally said, we did some paint, we did some puzzles. When they're giving you all that extra information, it's a lie. People who are confident in what they're saying, in the truth, they're going to give you minimal details because they don't feel like they have to prove themselves. When they're lying, they have to give you all this extra information. They have to add details instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, I went to the barbecue spot." Oh yeah, I went to the barbecue spot. I got some coleslaw, dude. When I bent over to pick up my napkin, I saw Keisha Cole. Like just throwing any information that is not relevant is just way too much details, and that gives you a heads up. Like, why are you like you guys seen that video? I'm gonna play it for y'all because I just want to lighten the mood a little bit, right? And I'm not trying to make light of what happened to this young man, but I want to know, Sarah, okay? I want to know.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Why are you lying? Why are you lying? Okay? This is a serious situation. You left the man in the suitcase to pass. You told the police you had a grand old time. Now he's suddenly abusive. Now he's suddenly violent. Now all these details about the day that he passed away are suddenly coming to the surface. Right? As soon as you find out that they know that you injured him, now suddenly he's an abusive man and that's why you did it. One thing I hate is a liar, and she's very bad at it. I felt like I had to lighten it up, Vic, because this story is just so gruesome, very, very gruesome. But it's important that we pay attention to people like this, right? Maybe we can even one day be able to spot out, people who are violent and have the capacity to be this evil. But let's continue.
We're not drunk. He was not drunk. You guys were having a good time.
I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like being non-compos having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just saying you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics.
I'm not.
We are not, but you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out. I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it?
And now you just going and falling asleep. Sherry, I don't know what you're responding to, but thank you for coming to the show tonight. Now they're asking her, they're saying, well, everything was all cool just a few seconds ago, right? A few minutes ago, you said you guys were fine, that you weren't drinking, that you had a little bit of wine. Now he's a belligerent drunk who attacks you, destroys your TVs, and you have video evidence of it, right? Now the detective has a very good poker face, very slight facial inflections. At this point, he's looking at her like, you can't even keep up a consistent lie. right? What are you about? What do you really have underneath the surface? What are you capable of doing if you'll lie like this and expect us to believe you?
Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and
No.
it got physical?
No.
Or is it?
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time. He's dancing with my dog. You can see that too on the pictures, him loving the dog. He loves the dog and dancing around, having a good time, and just being happy kind of thing. He doesn't know, I can get like maybe 2-3 glasses of wine and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you, like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did you have?
Now she can't even drink around him because he will just go berserk and she needs to be ready for him to pounce on her like a cheetah. Okay, like this is just so like,
Why the fuck you lying?
like tell us the truth. Why did you do him like that? Like, why would you do him like that? You can't even keep your story straight. Now this was like a movie, right? In those horror movies, right before somebody deletes somebody, they're having fun times. There's flashbacks to them kissing, smiling, eating, laughing. The kids are running around. Everything's happy, and then, right, everything just goes crazy. She can't even drink around them. Everything, she's living in this violent situation. She's not believable. And the question is, why are you lying? What are you trying to cover up about your intentions?
The bottle is gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yes.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left
Yeah,
over.
about this much.
Mm-hmm. And then that you had well, I don't even know how the wine. How'd you guys get the wine for Sunday?
I'm guessing he went to Publix.
Does he like leave the house and you stay home, or do you go to Publix? Like, because I know
sometimes I'll go with him.
Okay. Did you go with him Sunday to Publix?
So most of the time what happens is, because the convenience store where we get cigarettes is here, and then Publix literally is cattywampus to it.
Okay.
So what he'll do is he'll go by Publix, and then on the way back, catch the convenience store.
Okay.
So
is that what he did Sunday?
I'm guessing that's what he did.
Now, why do you need to tell them, oh yeah, he goes here and then he goes down? So that's why it was him, because he goes from this area to that area and Publix is just on the way. You know, he did get his cigarettes and Publix is right there, so he went in there and got some alcohol. Now the detail is completely irrelevant to the question of, so he went and got alcohol, or how'd you guys get liquor? And she wasn't even there with him, but she's somehow giving them a map out of exactly where he was that day in terms of what he did, right? He went, got cigarettes, and then he stopped at Publix on the way, and that's what he always does. That's Jorge. She's a severe alcoholic. That's why her husband divorced her. Yeah, and he seems to have kept a pretty tight leash on her because they were always talking. They were always in communication. After she did this, she called her ex-husband. So he knew something about her and her judgment, just how she carried herself. That made him need to, keep a close eye. And also, the kid wasn't living with them all the time. So he probably had more custody than she did. Now that detail I don't know a lot about. So let's continue.
Because the next thing I know, he's walking in with a bottle.
Okay.
So it's him trying to be nice, so I don't have to go out and do it. Plus, there's stuff that are around the house that I had to take care of. So that's usually what will happen. Or I'm folding laundry and he'll go run out and do whatever.
Okay. So where were you guys at on drunkenness, not drunkenness on Sunday? You told us you weren't drunk.
No, I was not drunk.
Right.
I was not drunk. So with him, I don't know. I know when it's like, oh, okay, man, where I have told him, slow down. It's starting to catch up with you. Slow down. Slow down. And another thing, too, is I don't like listening to music with him because he gets too involved in the music, and the music that he listens to is a little rough around the edges, and, it makes me fractious listening to his music. So I kept asking him, let's not just you and me talk. You and me will just be the ones that are talking, which was fine, because, I mean, we were playing with the dog, whatever, and then it's like, okay, now let's do the painting. We just did the puzzle, took a break, now.
Again, she's coming for his character. This is what people don't, this is what may not be that obvious just right away listening to her. But she wants people to believe that he was this unhinged person, right? He listened to violent rap music and, or whatever genre she's alluding that he was listening to. But he was listening to this violent music. He didn't have no job. He was going to the store buying liquor and cigarettes, right? He did the grocery shopping because he didn't have anything else to do. He didn't work. She's basically, at this point, coming for his character. Did she say she gets ratchet listening to his music? Yeah, that's why I said she's alluding to him listening to some like violent hip hop or heavy metal or whatever it was, right? That his music is off-putting. I mean, you put him in a suitcase. There's nothing more off-putting than listening to somebody beg for their life and you do nothing about it. You go to sleep. That is off-putting. You don't have no business talking about what music he listened to, considering this is what you did. But again, she's operating off of the belief that when she deleted the video, it was gone, right? And that's just not how phones work. Want to use substance that made him feel out of control. He was a brainiac. Oh, okay, Julian. Yeah, I mean, I know that he did have a history of substance abuse. And I think that's another thing. She kept mentioning like, oh, he's been working really hard trying to get it together. You don't have it together either, right? You don't have it together either. So, I mean, your critiques of him and his life are coming across weird, considering that you put him in a suitcase and you never let him out, right? He begged you for his life and you didn't let him out. Very, very bizarre, like, things to be talking about when, you just claimed a few minutes ago that you guys were having a grand old time and things have been so good and you guys are just so happy and getting along and you hadn't hit each other mutually in a month. Yeah, she probably thought, oh, I'm going to teach him a lesson. But, this is the problem with people like this. They don't understand that there are consequences. You can't just leave somebody in a suitcase overnight. That's not how it works. People need to breathe. That's something that we as humans really need is oxygen. You put somebody in a space where they're confined, right? The oxygen becomes limited. Now they're nervous. Let's say maybe he realized he was claustrophobic and being in that tight space made him uncomfortable. So maybe they were joking and then it went far and she thought it was just so funny and wanted to control everything that she left him there. There still is a pathologicalness to even that, because why would you do that? The moment someone starts begging me for life, it's not a joke anymore. Okay, damn, my bad. Let me get you out of there. Not that I would ever play like this, but So how did your husband get in that suitcase and pass? Exactly, Julian. It's ridiculous, right? It implies that she somehow manipulated him to get in there. Now, when she's talking to him while he's in the suitcase, if you didn't catch that part, you can go back a little bit. You can hear that she's laughing. She sounds twisted, like her voice is slurring and things like that. So she was very aware of what she was doing, right? She might have been enjoying even the control that she had over him in that moment. All right, so let's continue. Increased heart rate equals increased oxygen consumption. Exactly, that's the thing people don't understand too. If you are very nervous and overexerting yourself too, trying to take up more breaths, that space that's confined becomes like a vacuum, right? That air is almost tightening up and leaving that space. People don't really need air like that. Let's be real. All right, clearly you're on some BS, Neocon, so let's continue. I'm not going to keep chatting with you, buddy.
Let's do this. Sure enough, sat down. We're sitting in there talking, laughing, talking about new movies. We're watching movie trailers while we're doing painting and all that other stuff. So it's still background noise to him, because I think that's what he's used to, is having background noise. Where me, I can sit in here all day with not a peep. But he always has to have some kind of background noise, which I didn't mind because the trailers were cool. And he was interested in showing them to me, getting excited about movies that were out or upcoming. It was.
But you said it was a good day. Like, you guys didn't have any have any conversations about your relationship? You guys didn't go down like the rabbit hole, like had too many to drink, and you guys start getting.
Nope. When I tell you this, it made me so happy that he actually listened to what I had to say. With just, we'll get through it. This will be fine. It's just, it's a small hurdle that you and I together will get through because.
I'm talking about the money, jobs,
daughters. Yes.
Nothing relationship-wise, though. Like, no issues. Like, did you guys have a conversation about your relationship, or was it just about
just
like
what's going on right now?
Got it.
I try to evoke it from him so he gets it off his chest because I call him the volcano, where eventually he's going to erupt.
Right.
And what he has learned in his classes is to communicate, which is a huge thing in a relationship, where he has been practicing communication. So he actually talks to me about things and unburdens himself. Put it on me. I'll sit there and try and figure it out for you. Like I have almost everything.
So I want you guys to pay attention to two things with what she's saying, right? She's talking about, or she's taking responsibility for improvements in his life, right? So she's saying, you know, he was actually listening to me. He was doing the right thing or whatever. And so I was very proud of him for that, right? And also, I was taking care of everything. It sounds like resentment, almost like feeling like, oh, I was taking care of you. I'm the reason why, you know, today you got a car, whatever. It was like she was almost giving herself credit for him turning his life around, going to rehab, and all the things that she claims that he was doing at the time that were positive. All right, so it's a very weird way to regard somebody that you love, that you claim this was just an accident, that nothing nefarious was going on here. Very strange. All right, so let's continue.
Not a worry, just tell me, get it out of you.
Right.
But it was, when I tell you, I was so happy. Like it was such a good day. I kid you not. The weather was beautiful outside. I'm the one that had him go inside so we can do puzzles and painting and listen to music or whatever else he wants to do. So then he starts doing whatever it is we're doing together in the living room and then starts talking because I think he gets comfortable with, okay, you know what? We're here. It is a good day. Let me go ahead and explain myself. So I know. Nobody else knows, but I know. Nobody knew George better than I did. I say that I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form. Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him. I missed him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him a lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him? And
I never stopped. I never stopped. That's what I'm here for. I never stopped.
Now, the detectives obviously come out of that, right? She sounds like she's burdened by him. Like she feels like he was a burden to her, right? I was taking care of everything. I was taking care of him. I was giving him, you know, the formula for his life. She's taking credit for anything good that he probably possibly could accomplish, right? It just, her stories are all over the place at this point. And I say stories because it seems like with every piece of information that they give her, or that they're asking for her to provide, her story changes. So let's continue.
Now, because I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah, we just don't. I mean, it's unexplainable how he got these injuries, and
I have no idea.
You were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody.
Okay. You had mentioned that you would take photos, videos, just kind of like a proof and just in general.
Yeah, I started documenting at one point, but that was way before, I think, the last time that he got arrested, where he was flying off the deep end. Okay. But then I had him bailed out. I got him out of jail.
Right.
But because he had violated the pretrial diversion, this time it's probation, so you don't have a choice in it. You have to go see your probation officer. You have to go to these classes. It's court ordered.
Mm-hmm.
where it took him a while to get used to it and understand they're not messing around. I even went down and met his probation officer, which I say she's wonderful. That's one of my questions too I need to talk to you about. Hugged me and said how much she knows that I take care of him. She called me personally one time when George was at work, when he was working. 42-minute phone call. She and I just saying how grateful she is that George has me. And she knows.
Now, this sounds insane. Okay? She was praising me, telling me how much of a gift I am. I mean, you put him in a dang suitcase, so how much of a gift were you really to this man? Right? You regard him like a burden. You talk about him like he's a child, like you're taking care of him, like everything, you got to do everything for him. But everybody thinks you're this angel. You're amazing. You're God's gift to his life. This is so weird, right? Like it's very misplaced here. Now I know I'm late, right? Don't get me wrong. I know I'm late on this case. I obviously was living under a rock when this all was going down and going through court. I definitely saw her unhinged face, but it was just like, oh, it was everywhere. I was like, this is a crazy one. I'm gonna have to catch up. So I might catch up. The whole trial happened, but she sounds narcissistic for real. Like this is what a narcissist sounds like.
How hard I'm working to help him, just as she is, and just as the classes will. So once he started actually going on a regular basis to the probation officer, and then to his substance abuse class and his, I don't know what BIP stands for, Batterers Intervention Program, and actually listening to what it is everyone had to say, he changed. Like I could see a change in him, where before lashing out, he would think about it.
Yeah, this is the first time that I'm actually going into it. Now, I saw all the headlines and stuff, but it's like I was living under a rock, Sometimes life has this way of consuming you. You're not really paying attention to news and stuff like that. Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to get into it, Michelle. We're going to get into her testimony in court because, again, the statements that she make are not consistent with everything that, the police have proof for that happened in this case, for the injuries that Jorge suffered, for how his body looked, right? For the video that they recovered from her phone. So the video that she attempted to conceal from the police. It doesn't add up. So we're going to get into all that, but let's continue with a little bit more of what she says. Now, notice, they go into very deep detail right after it happens. They want to know, right? What are you going to tell us? What details are you going to provide us that is essentially going to, be the rope that we use? Right? Now, she never asked for an attorney. She's literally just sitting here trying to convince these two detectives that, hey, I'm telling the truth. So caught up in the lie that she doesn't even think, hey, let me get an attorney because this doesn't look good for me. Oh, yeah, Joanne, I completely missed it. So I'm like, you know what? Let me do a little recap of this one. She's been sentenced and charged and everything like that. So the case is long done. But when you put all these pieces together and look at this case, this is a wild one, a very wild one. So let's continue, guys.
And would always come home and show me his papers. And we would look over his papers together. Where it's like, wow, you actually are learning this in class? And some of the stuff that they would show them, like videos, he would come home and be like, Sarah, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. Because for a video that he watches to make him feel that way, where it's like, oh man, I have done her wrong. But he's changed. He changed.
And that's why you're still with him, even though he's done all these things to you.
Yeah.
And
I know this in the video that we watched of some of the things that she was saying to him, right? She talked about him doing her wrong. She said, how you feeling right now in that suitcase? That's how I felt when you were cheating on me. Right? She even throws in there, oh, that's how I felt when you had your arms around my neck. Making claims that really nobody can substantiate. Right? Only her word, even though the police arrested her one time because it appeared that she had strangled him before. Right? Or sorry, put his hands around her neck. I keep using the wrong words and then I catch it after. I'm like, ugh. But yeah. I don't get it. I don't get how she's telling all this and she thinks she's making a good case for herself. That's what gets me, is that she thinks that this is making her appear innocent. Y'all hear my cat begging to come in here and act a fool? As soon as I open the door, the first thing he would do is come and find this keyboard and jump on it. Because why not, right? But let's continue.
When I tell you I love him, I love him.
Boone, when you love somebody, you have limits.
Everybody tells me that. All my neighbors don't tell me that. The office property manager.
At some point, somebody gets enough, then they have to.
And that's so random. She says, everybody tells me that. Bob, his property manager, just random people now are telling her how much of an angel she is and how good she's doing for his life. It's ridiculous.
To do something to defend themselves.
I would just flee. And I don't know if you would like to see it on my phone, or I think it's actually on a laptop. I actually, because, and you have to understand too, I have, like, prior to classes in PO, kicked him out. How many times? I had him arrested. How many times?
But you also went down and bailed him out.
I know.
The next day.
I know.
What's on your laptop?
What was I going to tell you? Oh, previously.
Mm-hmm.
And she can't even remember. Because she said, what was I going to tell you? Right? Not what happened or anything. What was I going to tell you? You're just lying out her teeth.
Looked up how to file a restraining order.
Okay.
Because I would take him out, his parents, because of them constantly having to take him back in, his bags of clothes, all his stuff. The last time, the father came out and irate and just not even, I don't even know if he knew Lucas was in the car, just opened the back of my car and just started throwing all his crap in, just throwing it, like the car would jostle, he was throwing all his stuff. At that point, because I continually did it, not continually, I think I maybe did it 3 times, and he has nowhere else to go, they got fed up and said, nope, either you're staying there or you're staying here. But if you're staying here at their place, it's permanent. You're not going back over there anymore. So what happens is he pursues me. So I don't know if y'all know where Katie Way Trail is. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's literally right there from our apartment. Mm-hmm. Would ride his bike to work, but before he would leave extra early and come up to the wall, stand on top of his bike and poke his head over because he would know that I would be outside having my morning cigarette and cup of coffee. And I would also know too what time he would get off of work, where I would know, come getting off of work, he's gonna do the same thing. So it's not like I ever got like a break from him, where I told you all yesterday or whenever it was, I started to feel that it was too much togetherness. And when you have too much togetherness, friction happens. So I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to go upstairs and read a book. But every waking moment, he wants to be with me. So, and mind you, our townhome is either upstairs or downstairs. So it's like, if you would like to sit downstairs and watch a movie or play on the laptop, look up some jobs, you're born.
So now she's talking about feeling suffocated by him, right? How ironic. Right? How ironic.
More than welcome to. I'm just going to be upstairs maybe watching one of my shows or maybe reading a book. So, and then when that would happen, we really needed that. So what's for dinner? And then we would cook together and eat dinner and then crawl in the bed and watch a movie.
Are you talking about this is like recent? I don't, you kind of like lost me. Like what are you
talking about? A little while ago.
But now you're talking about tension.
Because the detective was like, you probably thought you ate, right? You probably thought you said something, but we're not buying your BS, right? It doesn't make any sense. In the one hand, you're talking about how amazing and great things are going between you and him, and then on the other hand, you're sick and tired of him. He's always up your butt. You don't want him around. On the other hand, he's violent, aggressive, angry, drunk, abusive. Which one is it? They can't even keep up with what you're trying to say. You don't have to be up underneath your partner all day, every day. You can go, you can leave, you can go do things too. I mean, what place does that even have in the conversation? First, you were afraid of him, he's abusive. Now you feel like he always want to be around you, all up under you, and you were just sick and tired of him. It's like, you can't keep her story straight.
Building up and that you need space. So have you been feeling that way lately, or?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay, my thing is too, so you all know, I hate that you can't talk to her, but Dee, his ex-wife, when I say a monster, she's a monster. Like, she withholds their children from speaking to him. So he gets upset about that, and then she like completely berates him about money, about the father that he is, what he did to her, all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. I mean, mind you, this has not like been recent, but which is why he didn't even bother calling anymore, because he knows that she's going to answer and he's going to have to talk to her, so therefore he can't talk to his daughter. The other time he talked to her, made her talk to Cookie. That's on my cell phone too, so you can see it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
What does she have to do though with anything about what happened Sunday and into Monday? Like,
no, I'm just saying, like, previously,
okay,
why the incidents would happen is she plays a big part in it.
Okay.
On top of job,
yeah,
and money and groceries and all that.
Okay. Now the baby mama is causing issues, and the detective just can't figure it out. What the hell does that have to do with anything? What place does the baby mother even have in this conversation when you're the one who put him in a... Oh boy.
When I tell you this, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is there anybody else at the house?
No, it's just me and him.
Since talking yesterday, do you remember any like timelines better? Like what time you guys were playing? What time he was zipped up in the luggage? What time you went upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around 4:30ish, and then...
You just said that it was dark when you were playing hide and seek, and I'm just curious if you remember.
But when we were outside, that's where we would start and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had him come inside, so we could...
About what time, do you remember what time that was, is what she's asking?
And you said you went up to bed around midnight, fell asleep around 12:30ish. But those are the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight. So there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or
like when we started to play hide and seek.
Yeah.
Well, we went inside probably about, if I had to guess, we weren't out there too long. Maybe about 6-ish. Then
I'm talking about from hanging out.
Yeah, it has no place here, right? Hide and seek it makes no sense in the story, right? Sometimes he's abusive, sometimes he's fun, sometimes everything is going great and amazing, and other times he's blasted, belligerent, and crazy, and you got to worry about your safety so much so you can't even enjoy a glass of wine, right? Hide and seek. Now you're hiding in a bathtub. Like, all of it it has no place together. It doesn't fit together. Her story just sounds like accumulation of words she threw together after she started hearing what they knew, right? The physical evidence of what happened. That's how she explained away the injuries that he had on him. Oh, we didn't put hands on each other recently, but we have, right? Implying that whatever they found might have been old. And they said, no, well, these are fresh injuries. Well, I don't know how that happened. I know we had sex and he got scratched in the neck, and I'm actually surprised you guys didn't bring that up right away, because that's what I remember, because I had intercourse with him and I scratched him up. Just none of it adds up. And she sounds crazy. I mean, how she thought this case was going to play out where people were going to believe she was some battered woman. It does not give that in the least bit. Who plays hide and seek in their 40s? Right. And also, he can't hide himself in a suitcase, right? He can't zip himself up so much that he's not able to get himself out. He can't do any of that from inside of the suitcase. She would have had to have done that. So how is that hide and seek if you're putting him in the hiding place? You're putting him in the hiding place and then you go count and start looking for him? Like, it...
Outside and like, okay.
Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there.
Right.
Just enjoy the weather.
Gotcha.
Plus, it's starting to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it, started to paint. Well, started listening to music a little bit.
See?
Started to paint.
So now she has to clean up the fact that, because that's what's happening here, right? Now she has to clean up the fact that she told the police everything was fine and dandy, but really everything was scary and tragic and she was traumatized and afraid of him, right? Now she has to come back to that story of, hey, we were painting and doing a puzzle. That's why they keep coming up. They never really happened. She wasn't doing no puzzle that night. She was hammering tequila shots or whatever her drink of choice was, right? And then she got bitter and jaded at some point and decided that this was something she wanted to do to her boyfriend instead of just leaving him. So let's continue to see how she's going to keep digging this hole for herself.
Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So 8 o'clock-ish?
Is when you went to hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs and then he didn't come up and you came down and the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there and it was there.
Yes.
And it was in play because.
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
Well,
I mean, we were playing.
No, I know,
that
but
time,
I'm saying, I'm talking about hide and seek, which is a game. So
the suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. If you, I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore, and I'm tired of looking at them. So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
Gotcha. No, I'm just asking in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not? But obviously no. I understand, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter. You were laughing, he was laughing. But what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something that you guys normally do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We were actually this last game running out of places to hide because we have a townhome where it's upstairs or downstairs.
Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday?
No.
No.
I think I took a picture of a dog.
Okay. But your phone is password protected. You have the password. He has the facial recognition. So it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password.
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
No.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if I did. Yes, it's me.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's a shared phone. Okay. How does he have access?
Sarah, can I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get into it? Because it's password protected.
He'll come and get it to me, and I'll just do the face thing. Where sometimes too, like he'll joke with me and say, "Okay, I need to borrow your phone," and he'll hold it while I'm cooking.
It doesn't sound like her. First of all, if this this footage would have been more clear, man. Her facial expressions are probably off the chain. Now we can see from here that her eyes get wide when she's saying certain things. I think that's her way of like, I'm lying, but I'm trying to pretend like I'm not, right?
Here to something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition. No, he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm assuming, other than.
Well, Lucas.
Right. But Lucas wasn't there Sunday. Right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I get my phone, I maybe took a picture of them, the two of Tess and
the dogs.
And George and them dancing, but I mean, it's just Tess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
If you need to move it around, go ahead.
And I love when they ask all them stupid questions, right? Or what appear to be stupid questions, and then they let you say all types of lies and nonsense, and then they pull out that smoking gun, and they're like, "Oh, did you say something about that you went to sleep and you had no idea he was trying to get out of there? Tell us how that's true again." Right? That's exactly what they're doing. Look, they're pulling it up for her, and they're gonna look at it and watch it with her. Right, as they found evidence that what she said about what she said happened that night didn't really go that way. They give a leading question to see if you let it slip what the image depicts to prove guilt. Exactly. Oh yeah, trust me, so good. Like when I started previewing this for the content tonight, I was like, how did I not pay attention to this case when it happened? Like this is probably one of the more bizarre cases that I've heard in of late. Very bizarre. Okay, and there's been other people who've had egregious crimes happen to them. So, but this one, very unsettling.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shut it down.
Oh. Okay.
Let me.
And that was her little sorcery, right? The evil witch in her drained the battery off the computer, but they said, you know what, ma'am, excuse me, you know what, ma'am, we're going to go get you a charger, and we're going to play this video that we recovered from your phone that you took. We know you took this, right? This is you talking to him. So forget everything you just said. Sit here with us and watch yourself telling yourself. Right? Nothing you do on your phone is private. Just remember that. Nothing.
The battery doesn't last very long.
Yeah, it used to last a lot longer than that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right. No, I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked. And
No.
okay, but why did you say it like that? Like,
I don't think you all understand who I am.
okay. Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son.
Okay.
I excel at everything. I would not do that.
You wouldn't lock somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
Okay.
Now notice they're very sarcastically asking her. They're like, well, you sounded shocked, right? When my partner asked you certain questions, but this video pretty much is you talking to him, right? You're having a conversation with him while he's locked in there. So no, you didn't just go up and go to sleep and forgot that he was in there. Yeah, I excel at everything. Did you, Julian? Were you listening when she was describing how all his neighbors, friends, property manager, parole officer were all praising her, right, for just being this amazing gift to him, and that she was changing his life and helping him. Yet somehow his parents didn't want him going back to her house, though, right? His parents didn't want him going back and living with her. And I wonder what it was. Now, I don't know if any of his family or anybody that knows them testified. So, I'll probably, if there's enough info in this case, I'll do a part two. Some of these cases I've wanted to do a part two, but then I'm just like, I feel like there's really not that much info left. Stuff like this has to feel powerful and let their ego get the best of them. Oh yeah, she has to be in control too, right? Control of herself and what she wants to do, and of him as well. That's literally what this all is about for her, right? She wants to be bragging on herself and how amazing of a woman she was for and to him. She fixed him. She did everything for him. She sacrificed for him, and then she got tired of him, right? She felt like he was suffocating her, right? A very sick and twisted type of poetic justice. Julian says, poor dude should have stayed with his folks. Exactly. And I think they gave him that ultimatum because they were hoping that he would give up that relationship. They probably saw something. Your parents be knowing. Your parents be knowing. Peace, young Riaz. I hope you have a good night. Thanks for joining us. So they're about to queue up that charger. Oh, wait till you hear from the neighbors. Like this case just gets crazier by the minute. It's insane. And honestly, I thought this would be a good one to do too, because I really didn't follow this at all. I had to look all this information up fresh because I just had not followed it. Honestly, since the panorama, I have been completely, consumed with life. She treated him like baggage in more ways than one. Yeah, it was almost like a sick symbolic thing that she didn't want to admit to. Like everybody can see the symbolism of saying that he was suffocating you and you just wanted to be alone and all this, and he cheated on you and all that, but yet here you are. So let me continue to play the video and I'll be right back.
No, it's just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
Why?
Well, we just want you to watch this. It came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please. Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
No.
I don't know how much I can take.
And I totally agree. I agree, Griffin. That was the first thing I thought. Like I thought the way that she's sort of lying and trying to praise herself, at the same time, that juxtaposition, considering all that's happened, the fact that he did pass away in a suitcase, that she did zip him up that day, it's crazy. It sounds very pathological. It almost sounds like she's more psychopathic than anything else. But I can't diagnose her. Maybe someone will one day. Let's continue.
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah.
Now, why don't you want to see that, right? Why don't you want to see it? Is it because you know what you did, right? Is it because you know how you treated that man? Right? Is it because your evil spirit was exposed? Right? Because you thought you just deleted it and it poof, disappeared. It's not how it works. If people don't know already, nothing that you do on your phone is private. Unless you got an Android. And even then, it's not really private. Right? The phone companies, the people who store your data, it's all accessible. So you thought you deleted this and it was just going to go away. Told all them lies. And now you don't want to look at it. Now you don't want to see what you did, what you said. Right now, it's too much. You're a victim, even in taking accountability for how you treated that man on his last day. But let's continue.
We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No,
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. You.
That's you, your voice.
Stupid. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Yeah, that's when you do it. You choke me.
I don't
Much like in the video, right? Much like in this video that we're watching, look at her body's all tensed up now. She's making herself out to be a victim. She has him zipped up in a suitcase where he can't breathe. And she's saying, oh, well, you've hurt me. You choked me. You cheated on me. Right? She's a victim even while she's hurting him. If that isn't a greater example of narcissism, I don't know what is.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase, he had 2 fingers hanging out.
I flipped him over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
There's 2 different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping him in different positions and him saying that he can't breathe and you saying
It's upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image is upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it. My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep.
Okay, honey. So there's video recording of you taunting him, laughing at him, ignoring him. And 11 minutes after, there's a video of him begging for you to let him out. There's another video, no sound, and only the suitcase flipped over. What happened? Like this dummy and weirdo was recording as it was happening, right? She was watching him pass away in the suitcase. And she even has the audacity now, as the police are finding this, to say, oh, well, you know, I flipped it around. I had no intention of going to sleep. That wasn't my intention. If you have a video 11 minutes before you flip him over of him begging for his life, there should not be a video of you, like, none of it makes, this does not make her look like an innocent person. And the fact that she's trying to explain it away using the same false details is insane. Is the trial on anything I can look up? Yeah, on YouTube for sure. Now I'm going to move to some different type of footage right now because I want you guys to hear from Sarah in court. Hold on. Did I put the right one? Now this one that we're going to listen to right here. They're going to take some excerpts from the trial. This is Court TV, by the way, that we're going to be looking at. And on Court TV, they sort of snip a little bit of what she talks about in terms of what we later come to find out are weapons that she used to attack him. Now, I don't want to use the name of the weapons because this is already one of those that they might try to zap me and be like, hey, you can't talk about that. Even though nobody else is. So I'm going to just let the video speak for itself. Let's listen to how she describes it on one part of what she later turns into an altercation that night, how she describes that. Now, this is 4 long years later, right now. She didn't look good in in the interrogation footage. But, wow. Time has really done a number on her. Your Honor, my client would like to plead oopsies. Wow. Yeah, he did suffer horribly. You know, he was begging for his life, and then there's a video 20 minutes later, 10 minutes later, whatever, of him, flipped over, and that it's like she was taunting him. She's saying I didn't do nothing to him, but if you're flipping him over and doing all this crap while he's in a suitcase begging for his life, that would explain why he has some injuries. She really thought she was going home that night. Yeah, I can't believe she did. But let's hear this. This is like some snippets from her testimony, okay?
Changed, and I knew the tone, and we ended up, I guess, arguing back and forth with one another, and it was the things that he was saying very much frightened me, and cursing at me and threatening me. And
did he want you to let him out of the suitcase?
I'm sure so.
Go ahead, tell me the.
So again, she's describing, now this is sick, right? So she's describing feeling afraid for her life and arguing with him while he's in the suitcase begging for his life. So you're claiming that you guys are arguing back and forth. He's asking you to let him the hell out of there. He's telling you he can't breathe. Right? She has to make herself out to be a victim, even when it looks clear as day that this is somebody that a normal attorney would say, no, don't go on the stands, right? Don't get up there and testify. But she's so hell-bent on acting like she's innocent when nobody in the least bit believes that she's innocent. In the video she recorded, the victim could be heard telling the defendant he could not breathe and asking to be let out of the suitcase to release reads. Boone responded with, "That's what you get. That's what I feel like when you cheat on me and others." Yeah, she definitely said that. That's what we heard in the audio when they played it for her. And also when, it was played in court to describe what she was doing to him. So, but let's hear from the horse's mouth, literally, all right?
It got very heated very quickly, and he continued to push on the suitcase. And my fear was that he was going to break out of the suitcase, knowing.
Well, I mean, if he's crying to you saying he can't breathe, yeah, he's going to try and bust out of the suitcase. Like, I mean, what's wrong with you? She sounds crazy. I'm sorry that I keep interrupting, guys, but I couldn't believe she was sitting here saying this nonsense.
That it was a broken suitcase. And his hand started to come through. His hand started to come through this way. And so I shook the suitcase, trying to get his hand to go back in, shaking it, and telling him that, please stop doing this. Please stop doing this to me. Please stop doing this to me.
So his hand actually got out of the suitcase.
Yes.
And you went to the suitcase.
Yes.
And shook it.
Yes.
Did that force his hand to go back in?
No.
So you're shaking it. Were you shaking it to try to get the suitcase, his hand back in?
Yes.
How long did you shake it?
I don't know.
But his hand was still out.
Yes.
Was he trying to get out?
Forcefully, yes.
Was he angry at you?
Yes.
Were you in fear?
Always.
If he would have gotten out of the suitcase, what would he have done to you?
Like he used to tell me, he probably would have made me unrecognizable, or I would have lost my life.
So now, I don't know where they live, right? But if the police come, because he's been arrested many times due to altercations with her, and a few times they were both mutually arrested. But if he had ever done that to her, and the police came, they would automatically press charges. They wouldn't ask her for cooperation or anything, and the cases wouldn't be dropped, right? They would physically see, and sometimes the state will pursue those charges on their own, especially in severe cases. So, I mean, she's trying to paint like she was just so afraid, but the guy is telling you he can't breathe. He wants to be let out of the suitcase. And you're acting like the fact that he was trying to get out of the suitcase was an attack on your person. And that I just don't understand.
Did you lose the grip on the suitcase?
Yes.
Where was the bat in relation to the suitcase?
It was leaning up against the dining room table right there.
How far was the bat from the suitcase?
3 feet, 2 feet.
Okay. Was his hand still out of the suitcase?
Yes.
And was he getting out of the suitcase?
He very much was trying, yes.
And so what did you do?
For the split second reaction that I had, I happened to see that and I grabbed the baseball bat and was trying to poke his hand to go back in to please don't break through, please. So I hit his hand.
Did you hit the outside part of his hand?
Yes.
We've seen the photographs of his left hand. Did you cause the bruising there?
I'm guessing yes.
Now, you've seen the bat. It's a youth bat.
Yes, I bought it for my son.
Is this the bat you used?
Yes.
And you said you poked him with it?
Yes, I kind of pushed, like I held it with the skinny part here and then
So the grip here,
prodded at it, yes.
you grabbed it with both hands here,
Yes,
and then the barrel of the bat, the big part of the bat is here.
correct.
And you thrusted it into the different areas of the suitcase?
I started with his hand and his hand, he was still trying to get out. He was still trying to do that. So I started to push on the suitcase around.
And you know what's funny? The lawyer is probably listening to this nutcase like, damn, she's giving me a slam dunk. Right? So you're admitting that you were injuring him while he was in the suitcase. You're claiming that it was because you were afraid for your life, but he's the one who was confined, right? He's being held against his will. He can't get out. He can't breathe. And she's, for some reason, has introduced a weapon to the suitcase situation.
On it, hoping to have his hand retract and go back inside.
You made those injuries.
I did,
We've seen the photographs.
yes,
We see the bruising. Is that from that bat?
yes.
Eventually, did his hand go back inside from you doing?
Yes, finally, he had subsided and retracted his hand.
So in your mind, did you prevent him from attacking you?
Absolutely. Split second decision.
Now, once he retracted his hand, do you remember zipping it up some, or what did you do in relation? Because he was upside down, was he not, at that point?
Yes,
At some point, you flipped him back up.
I did.
Tell how that happened.
He wasn't cursing. He wasn't threatening. His hand was inside foremost. There was no more of him trying to break through the suitcase. So I felt safe enough to turn it back over. It wasn't happening anymore.
You went back to the video and the couch,
I did, yes.
and we saw the second video,
Yes,
the 22-second, and he's right side up again,
yes,
and you hear him say, Sarah?
yes.
Had you left enough room for him to get out? Zipper to zipper.
So actually, in that second video that it sounded like it had no audio when they played it, he said Sarah, so he was still alive. So there's one video, he's begging, saying he can't breathe. 15, almost 20 minutes later, there's a very short video and he's calling her name. So, he's obviously trying to get out of the suitcase. I mean, he's saying he can't breathe in there, and you're trying to force him back into it. I mean, this attorney is not even working at this point. He just showed up to work. He just showed up. He's not doing a damn thing. She's walking herself into describing her pathological behavior. Like, this is crazy. You know, I locked him in the suitcase, and then when he's getting mad and trying to get out because he can't breathe, I'm suddenly afraid for my life, and I start poking him, not smashing him and causing injuries all over his body, neck, back, right? I'm poking him so he can move his hand, put his hand back in the suitcase. And yeah, I had to do that because I was in fear for my life. I mean, the audacity to even just get up here and say this. This lawyer didn't have to work at all. He didn't have to do anything. All he did is show up. That's why he's sitting over there rolling newspaper. Like, what kind of prop is that? He could have brought in a real bat. He brought in some newspaper. He wasn't even trying, because this is just, she didn't sound remorseful. She sounded like she was making excuses for treating him like human waste. You know, to put somebody confined like that and just be smashing them around and hitting them with a weapon while they're vulnerable. They have no ability to fight back or defend themselves or protect their body from injury from you. They're just at your mercy. And you're going to be playing like you're some type of victim. Yeah, this attorney didn't have to earn the very fat check that he got from working this case at all.
Yes, that's how his hand was trying.
That suitcase has 2 zippers, doesn't it? And they meet at various places along the line?
Correct.
How much room, when you flipped it over, how much room was between zipper to zipper?
I don't know specifically. I mean, it was enough to where his hand was coming out.
After you had hit him with the bat, was he not trying to get out anymore?
No.
Did you believe that he could breathe in there?
Yes.
Did you ever believe he could die in there?
No. At all.
Were you trying to kill him?
Never.
Did you want to kill him?
I did not.
Did you walk upstairs?
I did, yes.
Why didn't you let him out before you walked upstairs? Were you afraid?
Terrified is more of the word.
As long as he was in the suitcase, he couldn't harm you.
I mean, now I'm starting to think that this might be her attorney. And I'm going to ask again, like, if this is her attorney, is he trying to make her sound innocent? Because this is not giving innocent at all. Thank you so much, Lana Love. She says, wow, just wow. Yeah, I'm like baffled. You know, she's got this look on her face like she was such a victim, you know, like as if she was in so much danger that she had to be afraid of letting him out of a suitcase that she locked him in. Right? Claiming that he's lying about saying that he can't breathe. Even though she's got him confined in a tiny place. And then boom, he passes away. And she's still the victim, right? She just didn't know what his limit was that day. It's insane. Thank you so much, Lana Love, again, for the super chat. Yeah, she's very cold-hearted. She's cold-blooded as they come. Listen, very cold-blooded. She's cold-blooded. I've been following this case very closely, and it just baffles me. Yeah, I mean, the sentencing, she's insane. I want to go and look through some more of the, all the court footage and her weirdest moments, but, the facts of the case are bizarre enough. We can't even get through all of that without just being completely shocked. That's why I said this case is going to be talked about for at least the next 50 years. I promise that. I promise to you that in 40 years, someone's going to be like, oh yeah, y'all remember that Sarah Boone case? I mean, she was crazy. Beat dude up with a baseball bat while he was in a suitcase and claimed self-defense. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, hey, do it. I don't blame you. She's an evil monster. Yeah, she is Rowan. Nancy Rowan. welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming in here today and dropping a comment in the chat. All the engagement is extremely appreciated from you guys. That's the prosecutor asking her the questions, not her lawyer. Oh, okay. See, this is what I'm saying, because I almost couldn't tell because it sounds bizarre. He's not objecting. Does she have an attorney? Next thing you know, she's going to claim that she wasn't fairly represented. But I'm sure she went against attorney recommendations when she decided to even get on the stand in the first place. So, I mean, I don't know. Let's continue, though.
Correct.
When he's, did you want him to calm down?
Yes, I wanted him to stop being angry because I know what it is for him to be angry.
You went upstairs. Where were the dogs?
The dogs ran upstairs with me.
And where did they go?
On the bed.
Did you have the phone with you?
Yes.
I hate to say that for informational purposes, I'm going to say, I would love to be a fly on that wall that day. Just to see, just to understand who this lady is, how she acts. Oh, okay, Diane, this is what I'm saying. This gotta be her attorney. Because some of the questions are asking her, like, were you afraid? Like, this has to be her attorney. But they're not making her she doesn't sound innocent to me. Like, the things that she's saying to me makes it sound like she's just crazy. Like, that she don't care about anybody else but herself. She only cares about how things affect her. She don't care about nobody else's safety. That's what it sounds like. She really thought she can get on the stand and make the jury feel sorry for her. Right? I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Was that her attorney's hope? Right? That white privilege was going to serve her or something? Like, it didn't. No, the jurors were like, nah, no, you're guilty. You're guilty. You did it. Right? All the evidence is there. You can't conceal anything that you recorded on a digital phone in 2025. You just can't.
Yes.
I know at some point you called your husband Brian, did you not?
I did.
Do you recall how long that conversation was?
Not very long.
Can you recall what was said?
I don't remember exactly. No, I don't.
Yeah. I'm wondering if she will try to seek some sort of, appeal based on that, because really, this is insane, that she's sitting here saying all of this as if this is like exonerating her. This is burying her. This is literally solidifying her time in jail. All of it. She went through 8 or 9 court-appointed lawyers. Yeah, and if she's not going to follow attorney advice, to some degree, it is professional for them to step away from the case, because, you're not working the best interest of your client if you can't protect, if they won't let you protect your own legal interests. She's not doing that. If you get a chance to watch the whole trial, it's interesting as how it plays out. Yeah, I would definitely love to. I think it's on Court TV I think it's like 2 hours long. That would be a nice one. That might be what I come back and do on this case, because I'm really enjoying this one, not because this is like, fun to hear about someone passing away, but I think the facts of this case just they tell you something crazy about humans, about our nature, about how evil we can be sometimes, I'm surprised the fake tears haven't came out yet. Yeah, I mean, she keeps furrowing her brow, that means, putting her brow, like, to try to make herself seem like, oh, poor me. She keeps doing that, but I don't think she can even summon any tears. Her tear ducts are dry, right? Because she really doesn't care. Joanne Jenkins says, I think the lawyer is trying to show her mindset. Yeah, but her mindset's crazy. Like, she doesn't sound like somebody who has empathy or sympathy for others. Like sounds like for her the issue is being inconvenienced. That's what it kind of sounds like here. That she didn't like that he was upset that he was stuck in this suitcase and couldn't breathe and she wasn't letting him out. You know, it's just she sounds like an entitled person now. You could say, oh, maybe he's trying to make an argument that she's not a rational person, but I don't think there was any there was any type of mental capacity evaluation. I don't think they've ever claimed that. So unless he's trying to prove that, there's really no point in playing it this way other than to show that she was unstable. So.
Miss Boone, Sarah Boone, you said that when he was in the suitcase, he was threatening you. Can you tell the jury what he was saying?
I don't know. Am I allowed to curse?
Yes.
That he was going to fucking end me. And that's what made me ask him please to stop doing what he's doing to me. That he was going to, I'm guessing, try his best that night to probably take my life.
But what the threat you heard was he's
going to
say the word.
End me.
Excuse me?
Fucking end me.
End you?
Yes.
One more.
Yes, sir.
Judge, will we approach the bench?
Yes.
No, I don't know what they approached about. I wonder what that was about. Maybe the language that was used, but it's muted, I believe. So let me see. When does the audio come back?
Oh. All right, members of the jury, I have a matter that I have to discuss with counsel at this point in time outside of your presence. So I'm going to ask you to retire to the deliberation. We'll bring you back as promptly as possible. Again, similar instruction that I've given you. Please do not conduct any independent investigation or research as the person places things or charge involved. And do not have any discussions amongst yourselves or anyone else about those things. We'll bring you back in as promptly as possible. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it was all over the place. And Lana, I know you saw some of it, but I don't know if you saw the interrogation video where she literally started it off acting like, oh no, everything was good, I don't know how this happened, to then saying, well, I was so afraid and on edge, and then they just pull up that video and say, well, what we found on your phone tells a different story, right? And then now here she is in court just bumbling away. We don't even know what she's really trying to say here. Probably because it was hearsay. Oh, maybe it was because of, yeah, definitely something. There was a problem with the language for sure. Now I just want to show you guys this lovely couple here. I don't know if you guys have seen them. I didn't put up a picture. Usually people tend to do that when they're talking about one of these couples, but yeah, that's Sarah Boone and sorry guys, that's Sarah Boone and Jorge Torres. All right, now I'm just gonna say this: she looked a lot younger when this happened. You know, she looked a lot younger, or maybe it's the angle of the photo that makes her look a little bit younger. And she looks younger because in the when she was sitting there on the stand, she had like the more of a gobble neck going on and all that. In this picture, she looks like a little bit younger, at least in my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think? Also, they look like a weird match. I don't know. I always like to, and I do this for any couple, not just couples who have, a crazy story like this. But I do this for all couples. Like I look at how paired they look. Like, do they look like they fit each other? And these two don't look like they fit. It does not look like a fit. Now, I definitely think they had a connection. Maybe they trauma bonded or something, but doesn't seem like a good fit. The prosecutor did a great job in this case. This case was, 5 years ago? Well, this case just wrapped up a couple months ago, but this occurred in 2020. Ooh. A month before the panorama started. Wow, crazy. All right, let's continue. I'm going to go back to the video. I just want to show you guys. I wanted to give you guys the visual of what these two look like. I realized I hadn't put any pictures or anything up, but just, usually those visuals are on the thumbnail or something, but let's continue. Yeah, that's something about there. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes that be the bond, Diane. Sometimes the bond be their shared addictions, their shared, bad traits that, other people don't like it. Other people want them to change. And so they come together and they just sort of mush in this substance abuse, toxic, violent relationship cycle where, one day, everything's good, and the next day she's calling the police on him. He's getting put into the battering diversion programs. And honestly, I think I honestly think this might be a case of where he was fighting back against her, and because she had marks and maybe he didn't, he paid the price. But I definitely think there was a lot of mutual combat going on in this case in terms of it just became a thing that they did, putting hands on each other. That's why, you're in a relationship with someone, they start putting hands on you, you start putting hands on them. That relationship isn't going anywhere. It's done. You might as well just leave each other be, because it only goes downhill from there. Because her ex-husband is a polar opposite of him. Yeah, and the ex-husband was so it's almost like he had her on a leash, right? She called him the next day before she even called the police and said, "Hey, I deleted him." Right? She was in contact with him constantly. Yes, they have a child together, so they have to be. But it's almost like he was still burdened with her because, she was previously married to him and had the child, and they were living together, and then something toxic happened and they had to leave each other. And I'm assuming the toxic thing that happened was them getting together, right? Who she became maybe after the child, or who she revealed herself to be after they had a child. Right, but he was still always around. She was still always leaning on him in a way, So there's a lot of toxic dynamics between her and Jorge too, because that probably made him uncomfortable. Hey, you're still always chatting with and telling your ex-husband all the information, not just of what's going on in your life, but your relationship, and that could be a boundary violation too. So let's continue. I want to see why they shut court down for a second. When they take the jury out, is whatever is being said, they're worried about it negatively impacting, the opinions of the jurors, or giving them information that could taint their understanding of things. So that's usually why they take a jury out. But let's get into it.
State, you can proceed with any argument at this point in time.
Judge, I believe that's pretty close to what we already knew from the deposition testimony, from the doctors relaying what she said for the proffer. What we have here is testimony from the defendant. Her timeline is she comes downstairs after having gone up to the shower and hiding, laying down after being declared to be it. She comes back downstairs, and before she gets back to the bottom of the stairwell, she can see that the victim is in the suitcase trying to get flat because the lid is flopping and he's not hidden just yet. And so she comes over, and I believe she testified she was moving it around before actually zipping the lid shut, but moving it around, everybody's laughing, it's all fun and games still. And then she zips it, and it's still fun and games, and everybody's laughing. And then at this point, she testifies that this is now her opportunity to get on her pulpit to express her true feelings about everything. And that's when she sits down on the couch and opens up her phone device and begins recording what later turns out to be IMG _1062.movie at 11:12:45 for 2 minutes and 3 seconds. During this period of time, the decedent is expressing meekly that he can't breathe. The only time he ever curses at her is, "Sarah, I can't fucking breathe. Babe, I can't fucking breathe." He is demonstrating under the law that he is in fear of losing his life. She has committed an aggravated assault. She has committed false imprisonment. She was the initial aggressor. There was no overt act to justify these actions that she took against her boyfriend. She then goes on to say that during this period of time between the end of the movie at 11:14:48 seconds and before the next one starts at 11:23, that it's now at this time, while he's still constrained and clearly unable to get out under his own power despite having his hand out, she begins beating him with a bat, poking his hands, poking the suitcase with a deadly weapon. A bat is used for baseball, but it can also be used to harm another person. And according to the medical examiner's testimony, there was great harm caused to him, deep ecchymosis bruises. She can't start to do this out of fear, like the analogy I gave earlier. If I pull a gun to rob you, Judge, and you pull a gun, I can't shoot you in self-defense.
That's a beautiful point, right? You can't be on the stand trying to claim that you were in fear for your life, right? Your attorney can't be making the argument that you were in fear for your life when you're the one who initiated the physical altercation, right? That was you. You put him in there. You got on your soapbox. You got upset at him that he was mad that he was in there and he couldn't breathe, right? Because she claims, "Oh, I knew he was mad. I knew he was upset. That's why he was trying to get out." No, we heard video 11 minutes before we see him flipped over saying he can't breathe. We have that. There's interrogation footage. I mean, there's too much evidence to prove she, at the moment, was not the one in fear. So no, she should be able to get on the stand and say that she was in fear for her life. I do think that's an argument, and I think that's where he's going with this.
She started this. She started this. There was no overt act, and therefore, we're asking for you to prevent, under the case law, any prior instances of violence, any reputation evidence, and any battered spouse syndrome evidence, because that's simply just what the case ended up being. Thank you.
Response.
Judge, this was a game by two intoxicated people. When people are drunk and intoxicated, they do silly and stupid things. The evidence is uncontroverted that George Torres willingly, by his own choice, elected to hide in the suitcase. By their interaction between the two of them, giggling and laughing at each other, he consented to her zipping up the suitcase. And the playful nature of what was going on during those few minutes prior to the video. When the video is turned on, there's a 2-minute period where they're talking. He's saying, "I need to get out. I can't breathe." She's not taking him seriously. As you've seen from the videos, I thought it was the boy crying wolf. She did not appreciate the fact that he could be actually having trouble breathing. And this was a chance for him to be heard by her about how she felt about some things involving their relationship. A short time later, the video was turned off, and then that period has been testified to by my client. And that period is uncontributed. That's a second period of time. We've got that time for the video. We got the 11 minutes. We got the 22 seconds. And there's no video. There's no audio. There's no eyewitness. There's nothing but Sarah Boone's testimony. And she's testified here today that they had words. There were threats. He got his hand out of the suitcase. She knew by the threats and him getting his hand out of the suitcase that he was about to get out of the suitcase and he was going to hurt her. A reasonable person under that scenario would believe she was about to be harmed. She was an imminent threat of harm. She blocked that attack by grabbing the bat, hitting his hand. When that didn't work, she started poking him.
Okay, my problem is, at what point are you going to say, like, this isn't a joke anymore? Right? He's in there. He's trying to get out. He can't get out. He's not here to tell us that he was actually able to get out. All we hear is arguably his last words, or some of his last words, saying, please, let me out, let me out. And she's saying, F you, I don't care. Sounds slurred, sounds drunk. She is laughing, but he doesn't have that same tone as her. Just because there's no other witness besides her doesn't mean she's telling the truth. Doesn't mean she has an interest to tell the truth either. Yes, he could have been manipulated into getting in there as a joke, but the moment somebody tells you, hey, I can't breathe, get me out of here, get me out of here, you don't pick up a baseball bat and start bruising their arm, neck, and back, flipping them over, kicking them down the stairs, whatever the hell else she did with him, right? At some point, it's going to click to you, no, this is not a joke anymore. It's not funny. I can be hurting him for real, right? I got to pick up a baseball bat, definitely. But then to kick him down the stairs or whatever somebody was saying that she did as well, no, he's not going to have significant injuries like that, and you thought this was all a big joke. Her attorney should be slapped over the head. This is not even a good argument. Honestly, she honestly might have a case for an appeal because this is ridiculous. If that's his argument, there's no way that he thinks that that's going to make her sound like she was in so much danger. No, you had him in a vulnerable position, so you took that moment to humiliate him, to talk down to him, to confine him, right? Because in the video we don't see no handout in the video we see. We're supposed to believe he just got so mad that he was suddenly gonna bust out of there and delete you.
With the bat in the suitcase. Eventually, she poked him several times. He put his hand inside the suitcase. She put the bat up. When she realized he was not going to do that any further, she flipped him over right side up. She still had a fear, knowing that if he got out, she would be harmed. He would beat her up. She went upstairs. That is an overt act based on the discussions, coupled with the fact that he threatened her, using the word, I'm going to fucking end it for you, or some words to that effect. I don't remember her exact words.
You didn't hear him say that. This is hearsay, right? We only heard him begging for his life, right? We only heard him saying he can't breathe, begging her to let him out, and she's laughing. And then she picks up a bat, and we're supposed to believe she thought she was in danger. This is not a good defense for what she's. This is not it. This is not it. Okay, we don't believe for a second that you went from being the one who was teasing and using his vulnerable position against him to bring up all the problems in your relationship, right? We don't believe that you were the victim in this. We believe this is about control and like she felt like it was in her power to do that. Like it was okay for her to do that. There was a lot of weird other details that, like I said, some internet sleuths who are much, better at information gathering than myself found that she had sort of a fascination with suitcases. So was this part of that? Otherwise, this defense is not it. If this is all she gave them, saying, "No, I thought it was all a joke. I was drunk, whatever." This is not a good defense.
While he was still in the suitcase. If she would have let him out, and this is a crime, now this is an event involving an omission, failure to act, failure to unzip him at that point before she went upstairs. The failure to act, the failure to unzip, which would have let him out, which would have created a situation that she believed was imminent bodily harm to herself. And I guess I'll get a couple of examples. Let's say that a police officer is called to a scene and the only thing he hears is there is a suspect and the suspect may be armed. So of course the officer pulls out his revolver and he's walking around. Well, then eventually he finds the suspect and the suspect reaches for his waist. The officer doesn't see the gun, but the officer sees the movement to the waist. The officer fires and shoots the suspect. The officer is justified because there's an immediate threat of harm. The officer has to react instinctively. There's no time to think. Similar to the actions that Sarah Boone had to take.
He thought he ate with that one. She's not a police officer. You're not a police officer. Right? The police have the authority to act sometimes because they're in fear of other things, right? They have the authority to deal with the public. Right? They have to figure out who is the perpetrator, who's the victim. They have a different authority than some everyday person. You don't get to keep him confined in that suitcase. And you don't get to decide, hey, I can't let him out because I'm afraid he's going to hurt me after you got him locked in there and he's telling you he can't breathe. That's not your choice at that point. If you want to press charges or call the police and say, look what he's doing, I'm so afraid of him, do that. But to keep him confined in there and then try to flip it around like, thank God she was so drunk off her ass that she actually forgot she recorded all this. As sick as it is, it's all captured on her phone. Yeah, I believe that she tried to conceal it, like she deleted it. And so when they pulled it back up, she was like, oh, damn. Yeah, and on top of it, it's remedial. This is not an argument that you make if you're trying to get somebody off of these type of charges. This is going to get them booked and sent to the big house, right? For the rest of their days. Now, I don't remember how many years she actually got, but she's already an older lady. She's like 47 now, I believe, because 5 years have obviously passed. But this is not a good way to work this case, right? She's basically saying, hey, I did this for selfish reasons. Essentially, right? I was upset and because I didn't want him to be mad at me and I made myself a victim even though I had him locked up in a vulnerable position.
Another example, you're in a bar with your buddies and you've had something to drink and another group has had something to drink and one of your buddies gets into an argument with one of the buddies on the other party. And one of your friends seeing that it's being escalated and the guy that's arguing with your buddy is aggressive, more aggressive than your buddy is. Your buddy's trying to settle the thing, but this other individual, maybe he's had too much to drink and he's more aggressive. So you go around behind this individual and before he's able to strike your buddy, you grab him, you lock him up. That's physical restraint to block an attack. Or you grab him by the neck and you choke him. Physical restraint to block an attack. That's what she was doing with the suitcase. If she let him out of the suitcase, she was going to be harmed based on him trying to get out with his hand, based on the threats he made while he had his hand out, and based on the threats he made while he had his hand inside just before she went upstairs.
Well, that is full of bull honky, right? And I'm going to say that's full of bull honky because the only actual evidence that we have that she tried to delete, obviously because it made her look guilty, he's begging for his life. He's saying, let me out, I can't breathe. So is she implying that he manipulates her in this way, and then when she lets him out, he hits her with a sneak attack? Because from what we heard and what the jury and the rest of the world heard, it sounded like he was begging for his life. And she ignored that. And then eventually a baseball bat is introduced. And then eventually more things are being done to him while he's in that physical vulnerable position. She's not in danger to where she has to flip the suitcase over and throw him down the stairs and grab a baseball bat. He's already confined. He's already confined. It's like putting somebody in handcuffs and putting the bag over their head and then stomping on them. Like, that makes no sense. They're already restricted movement. They're already involuntarily being held. Why more do you need to add on the physical attack against him? Why does this man have fresh bruising, scratches all over his body? This was a brutal attack that she did to him. But he's trying to sit here and act like, oh no, this was just two drunken, crazy people and they got out of control. No, this was a violent attack. And she's not helping herself either because she's a dummy. But the lawyer thinks he's eating. He's like, oh no, just like a police officer. Just like somebody restraining a friend in danger. The difference here is she claims they started out as a joke. So you never give them a chance for this to go from joke back to a regular serious, and you're just assuming all this time while you're attacking him, hitting him with a baseball bat, pushing him down the stairs, while you're doing all these things to him, he's confined. You are not in immediate danger to be doing this. But he's going to sit there and try to sell this as if she was genuinely keeping him in the suitcase because her life was in danger. So.
Thank you. Court's going to review all the case law that it's obtained in its research in this matter and come back with an oral ruling momentarily. Thank you.
I don't know if they're going to come back in this video. But anyway, she's found guilty, so we know things didn't work out for her. So she even claimed the zipper was broke, so he couldn't get out if he tried. Exactly. Literally, she was the one who was in control in that situation. Excuse me, he was completely vulnerable to her. All right, so that's the end of that one. It looks like there's nothing else on that particular video. So it ended there. Now we're going to go into her testimony because this Miss Sarah is she's the perfect lunatic. You know, she just has the personality, the energy, the vibes, the body language, everything about her is giving Looney Tune. Guys, I apologize for my flannel. It's so cold in here, though. But again, I don't know why her lawyer would allow her to get on the stand. You know, not one thing that she said in this case benefited her or made her sound innocent or like this was justified. Not one thing. Janice 7 said, I heard that Sarah is acting up at the prison and already has been in trouble with. Yeah, I heard that as well. Hey, Janice 7, thanks for joining me tonight. I know a lot of people follow this case, but I did not. So I was like, let me come in here and get this one out. But let's hear a little bit of her testimony because she's a bizarre personality. They're gonna make a Netflix special about her, especially after the trial. I mean, the case and the police interrogation was weird enough, but after the trial, yeah, I believe it just ended in October. She's definitely gonna get a Netflix special.
State, you recognize our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, you recognize our jury? All right, thank you. Y'all can be seated. Members of the jury, after seated and comfortable, if you could raise your hands to confirm that you complied with the court's instructions during the break. Record reflect all hands have been raised. With that, state has rested. The defense is going to put on a case. Defense, Mr. Owens, you can call your first witness.
The defense would call Sarah Boone.
Raise your right hand, please sworn. Please be swear or affirm the testimony you should give shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, ma'am, you could take a seat. And if you could, state and spell your name for the record for us.
Sarah Boone, 101077.
And could you spell your name?
SARAHBOONE.
All right, thank you very much. Sir, you may inquire.
Ms. Boone, would you please tell the jury where you were born and raised?
Atlanta, Georgia.
You were born in Atlanta?
We're in Atlanta.
And how long did you stay in Atlanta before you moved here to Florida?
I was 3 years old, 3 or 4.
Okay. And from that time, y'all moved, you and your family, your mother and father, moved to Orlando?
And my grandparents.
Okay. Y'all all moved down from Atlanta down to Orlando?
Yes, and my 2 brothers.
Okay. And were you raised here essentially from that time on?
Yes.
And you resided here in Orange County, Florida that entire time?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you go to high school here locally?
I did.
Where did you go to high school?
Edgewater.
Okay. And tell the jury, how old were you when you graduated?
I was 18 years old.
Now, I know you lost your mother and father.
Overruled.
Isn't that where the Gators be at? Edgewater, Florida. Yo, Trump and all of these damn, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm over here getting notifications on YouTube for channels I don't even watch of this man just continuously talking to us, but not telling us nothing about when rent is going to go down, when groceries are, just talking. You know, I'm tired of seeing Donald Trump on my screen. But this is, hold on, this is insane.
I know you lost your mother and father in your teens. And
again, I'm pretty sure there's lots of Gators in Edgewater, Florida, but I'm going to look it up.
In your 20s, is that true?
I lost my grandfather when I was a sophomore in high school, and I lost my father when I was a senior. And then my mother passed away a few years after that, and then my grandmother passed away after my mother died.
All right, so you were in your 20s when all that was going on?
Yes.
Okay. And then at some point in your 20s, you met Brian Boone?
I did, yes.
All right. And how long did y'all date before you married?
A good handful of years. I helped my family with paying mortgage and bills for the house since my father had passed away and my grandfather. So
you worked outside the home?
I did.
Okay. Can you tell the jury when you said you and Brian Boone dated for a while? Do you remember when y'all married?
I do.
Could you tell the jury when y'all were married?
The year?
Yeah. You remember the date?
It happened to be, yes, that after my mother passed away, that he had waited to ask me to marry him because he knew it would be,
Sustained.
Just answer the question if you can, Ms. Boone. Are you a little bit nervous?
A little bit.
Just tell.
But this is what she do. She give you all type of extra information that don't have nothing to do with what they just asked you. Right? Stick to the question. Answer the direct question. Beating around the bush is tiring. It overwhelms the jury. It's a manipulative tactic because then we forget what the hell you were even saying. And now you've introduced yourself again as some sort of a victim.
Tell the jury if you.
And look at that smile. Ooh, she looks crazy. No, she looks like something out of a nightmare. You see how she's getting tense now. Like, you can tell she's getting annoyed. I don't like that face. It's giving demonic.
Remember the date that you and Brian Boone married?
August 21st, 2004.
Okay. And had y'all lived with each other for a short time before that?
Short time.
Yes. Okay. After you married, how long was it before y'all had any children?
Gosh, 6 years?
Okay. And y'all have one son.
Yes.
What's his name?
Lucas.
And how old is Lucas now?
Lucas will be 14 years old on the 28th.
28th of this month?
Yes.
Okay. So you and Brian were married and y'all lived in Orange County. How long were y'all married?
For 13 years.
Right. And y'all divorced?
Yes.
And as part of the divorce, were y'all to share custody of your son?
Yes.
And so y'all would split days? Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. At some time after you and Brian split up, did you meet George Torres?
Yes.
All right. Could you tell the jury how you met George Torres?
I met George when I decided to buck up, I guess, and was tired of trying to patch things up with my ex-husband. And I decided to go one day for a walk across the street and go have a beer by myself and sit and people watch just to get out of my house and a change of scenery.
All right. Now is this your apartment?
No, this is.
Notice how she went and ran on again. Right? They're asking her, how did you meet Jorge? Because, I wanted one day to go out and have a drink and get to know somebody and people watch and whatever. And now suddenly we're learning about her day. She's not even telling us when her and Jorge really connected. Now, she's going to get there. But all this information overload is to really distract you from the fact that she's not telling the truth and she's trying to conceal what actually happened. So let's continue. And do me a favor, guys, and bless me with a like. I would greatly appreciate it.
It's a marital home.
Okay. Where is that marital home?
Winter Park?
You're no longer living in that marital home?
No.
Who lives in the marital home?
No one. It has been sold.
Okay. So you met George Torres before you got the apartment?
Yes.
Okay. And you met him at a bar across the street from the marital home?
Yes, we had a mutual friend there.
Were you introduced?
Yes.
All right. How did you and George get along when y'all first met?
Very well. It was strange how quickly we hit things off and had so much in common. And I never thought that he would be interested in someone like me. And I just couldn't believe that he was actually interested in me and said a lot of nice things. And 1 hour ended up being 4 hours from when we had first met. And then we would always have something to talk about.
Why couldn't you believe that he would be interested in you?
He was very handsome. He was very funny. He was smart, and I would show up in workout clothes and disheveled hair, and I guess I kind of felt broken from being in the process of the divorce that he knew about. But then one of the things that we could relate also was the fact that he was here in Florida because he had just been divorced from his second wife. So that was another topic that he and I could compare notes on.
So eventually the divorce was settled. Did you get your own place?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that after at first you lived in your parents' home, correct?
Yes, until I was married.
And then you moved directly in with Brian?
Yes.
And then y'all lived in the marital home, correct?
Yes.
And then you got this apartment?
Yes.
So that was the first time in your life that you actually had your own place?
Yes.
And what was the address?
4748 France Court, apartment number 3.
And what city is that in?
It's in Winter Park.
How far is that from here?
20 minutes.
Okay. So you got that apartment, and initially, were you by yourself?
No.
All right, tell the jury.
In the almost year, about 10 months of separation from Brian, my ex-husband, that is the time when I met George. And my ex-husband was trying to buy me out or force me out of our marital home, and I needed to find somewhere to live. And
so did you and George agree to rent the apartment?
yes, I needed extra income. We could not afford it just on my own.
You were receiving some income from the marriage settlement, were you not?
Yes.
So you did have consistent monthly income coming in from the marriage settlement?
For the most part, yes.
But you needed more to live.
Yes, to pay the bills and for rent.
So did you and George have some agreement?
We did.
All right, what was the agreement?
The agreement was that if I decided for he and I to live with one another, because it would be under my name, that he would help with the monthly bills and on a regular basis where it wouldn't be something that I would have to argue with him about. It would just be an automatic, make sure that everything's paid first, and then from there, hopefully have some fun with it.
Okay. So I understand from that point on, would it be fair to say that y'all saw each other on and off for about the next 3.5 years?
No, I would consider us a couple.
Okay.
At some point, he asked me to marry him.
Okay. But y'all did have times where he left and went to live with his parents.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
And there were times where there was an understanding that y'all were going to break up.
Multiple times.
Okay. All right. So again, on again, off again.
Yes. This was actually before we had our apartment. That was, I guess, our dating phase.
Okay. So y'all were together for 3.5 years. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And y'all had actually agreed to marry?
He had asked me, yes, a couple of times to marry him, and one time I agreed to yes.
Okay. Now, I want to get directly to the date of this event so that the jury can hear your testimony. All right. So tell us, I believe the date is February the 23rd of 2020. Explain to the jury that whole day, from the time y'all got up, the whole thing.
Approach.
Now, I can understand why they would want to stop at that point, right? And there's probably going to be some objections, and I'm curious what side we'll get into it. I'm not going to watch this whole thing because it's getting late already. We've been here almost 3 hours. I do appreciate everyone who's here to watch the show. You guys can hit the like button. I would appreciate it. But, now she has to tell the story. Now, this is probably going to be like 9, 10 time that she's telling it, at least in front of the attorneys, right? This is more times it's been said so many more times at this point that how is she going to string together all of those lies, right? Every lie that we've seen from the beginning of this, from when she's in there being interrogated and they're slowly rolling out all the different evidence that proves everything she's saying to a lie, that's a lie, to when she starts improvising her lies, right? So when the information completely changes and now she's a victim, how is she going to string this all together in court? So I'm curious who the objection is from, but let's listen to this because, this lady has told so many fibs, just trying to get the story out in this, just trying to get the truth out in this case. She hasn't been the least bit truthful. She hasn't been honest, and honestly, she's made it easy for this to be prosecuted, brought to trial, and her charged. Right? Everything she says is inconsistent. So, and they're arguing back there. We'll see. Look at her. Why would she be smiling right now? It's so inappropriate, but look at it. Oh Oh my God. I would like to be a fly on the wall in that courtroom. The energy must have been so, ooh. To me, she is all over the place. Yeah, there's nothing consistent about how she's telling, like, and I know they're going to probably be like, oh, well, I object or I this or I that. They're going to have an issue with this part because she has to retell the story now for the first time in front of the jury and the public, you know, defending.
Objection's overruled for now.
Oh, so they tried to object. Okay, so see, her attorney started working finally. He's been sitting there doing nothing this whole time. Now he's trying to work. She needed an extra income. She also found a drinking partner. When he lost his job, he became worthless to her. God bless Mr. Torres. He got justice from the grave. Well done. Yeah, I mean this wasn't gonna go well for her. She wasn't even concealing what she did. You know, she really thought she'd be able to justify. I definitely think that he became worthless to her at some point, right? That's clear by how she treated him, how she was talking to him in his last moments, right? The evidence that the police found, yeah, she was ready to discard him. Typical narcissistic behavior as well. Once they have no purpose for you, yeah, you can go. They're done. They don't need you around anymore. What purpose do you serve for them if you can't help them accomplish something or get something for themselves? Right? You've expired to them. And some of them, yeah, they can become pathological like this. I mean, she was just smirking. How can you even be smirking at this part in the trial? Now, you could say it's nervousness, but it's very inappropriate. Very inappropriate.
Now, Ms. Boone, let's just, instead of one long speech, let me break you up over the course of the day. So, do you remember the date of February 23rd, 2020?
Yes.
Do you remember getting up?
Yes.
All right, just tell the jury about that morning. What y'all did that morning. What you and George, you and George spent the night together at the apartment.
Yes, at that point he was living there.
Yes. So y'all slept in the bed together upstairs. February. So you would have gotten up. Y'all would have gotten up that morning, February 23rd of 2020.
Yes.
All right. Tell the jury what happened when y'all got up.
He was already downstairs, and I went downstairs, and he wanted to start the day off by drinking because it was a day off from his job, and I talked him into cleaning and tidying up the house for a sense of accomplishment. So that is what we did for however long that it took. So we did tidy up the house and got everything in order, and it was kind of a reward, I guess, to be able to sit and enjoy ourselves and sit on the back porch.
All right. What do you mean by cleaning up the house? What did y'all do?
We swept and mopped. We folded some of the laundry. I know that we did the dishes, emptied the dishwasher, just general run of the mill.
Yeah, and you know, she did this to herself when she got into the interrogation room and started trying to defame his character. That's exactly what she did. Oh, he wanted to get up and just start drinking alcohol right away, but I talked him into cleaning and tidying up like an adult. Right? I helped him see the benefit in accomplishing something before you just throw your day away. Like, she was acting like her grandiose delusions are really on full display here, right? She thinks she has this greater importance in his life than she truly does. Either that or she's trying to demonstrate his low moral character, right? You get up and you just start drinking, you don't even accomplish something in your day, right? You're a worthless human being. That's what you were. You were worthless. And so it's okay that I did this to you, right? It can even be justified. That's the sick part about her rationale. That's where it would eventually go. Because none of this is relevant. He said, what did you guys do? You could have got up and you could have said, we got up and decide, we decided to do some cleaning and stuff like that. You didn't have to say, oh, he wanted to drink, but I talked him into cleaning up and taking care of chores and stuff because that type of stuff makes you feel accomplished. Irrelevant details, fluffing up the story so that a lie is concealed, right? Some evil, nefarious nature is concealed as well. Because that has nothing to do with what they asked her. We got up, we cleaned, we did the laundry, we had food, we tidied up, we paid the bills, whatever it is she had to say. She could have just said it. She didn't have to say, oh, we woke up and he wanted to just drink, but I convinced him to be productive and take care of things, right? He's this guy who was on a journey of sobriety as well, too, right? So she's trying to demonstrate here, oh, he was struggling with that. So I had to take him out of that. I had to help him. He was this emotional burden on me. And he was also physically abusive and all the other crazy things she started to say he did. So, I mean, she's a very, very manipulative person.
Tidying up.
And did you have your son coming the next day?
Yes, that was one of the reasons why we were able to do that.
What was the arrangement you had in terms of the next day would have been your day to pick up your son from school?
Yes.
What time would you pick Lucas up from school the next day?
I believe his school ended at 3:00.
Okay. So you would have been responsible to pick him up and he would be spending the night with you that night?
Yes.
So you wanted to have the house nice and clean?
Yes.
How many bedrooms are in the home?
2.
And you and George had one bedroom?
Yes.
And who had the other?
Lucas.
All right. Is that exclusively his bedroom?
Yes.
All right. So how long would it have taken y'all that morning to clean?
I don't really remember what time we woke up, but maybe a good 2, maybe 3 hours.
Okay. And would it be fair to say that you and George both smoked cigarettes?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that you and George both drink alcohol?
Yes.
All right. So at some point, y'all finished your chores, right? And then y'all were going to enjoy the day.
Yes.
All right. What was the plan?
It was just kind of, we've got the day to ourselves. It's just kind of relax and go with the flow.
Did y'all make a decision that y'all were going to start drinking?
Yes, we had a half of a bottle that was already in the refrigerator, and I did not want to go out afterwards. I, again, had Lucas coming the next day, so we went over to Publix to purchase another bottle of wine so we could not have to go out later on that evening.
Now, you were here in court when the state played the video of you two and the Publix purchasing the bottle of wine?
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to here with the jury right now?
Yes.
Okay. And that was around noonish?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Had y'all started drinking the leftover bottle before going to the Publix?
No.
Okay. So y'all bought a bottle of wine?
Yes.
All right. And how did y'all get to Publix?
My car.
How far is Publix from your apartment?
5 minutes.
How would you get there from your apartment?
What do you mean?
Did you have to go across any major highways or is it right there?
You just come out of our apartment complex and you do a little U-turn and then you come up and it's right in that complex.
Okay. But it's easier to drive than to walk?
Yes.
Okay. I know at some times y'all would simply need cigarettes and it was in walking distance. Can you tell the jury about that?
Yes. There was a AutoZone convenience store with in the same, I guess, parking lot of our townhome, our complex. And it was just a straight shot from our apartment to a back gate, and you could get right into the convenience store from right there.
Okay. But y'all went over to get that bottle of wine around noonish. And how did you took your car?
Yes.
Did George have a vehicle?
We did not.
Okay. And how did you pay for the wine?
With my debit card.
And then y'all came back and started drinking?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us what you did when you got back from the Publix.
Just went on the back porch where we usually spend our time because we're able to smoke cigarettes outside as opposed to inside. And
Is cigarette smoking not allowed indoors?
it is not.
Okay. Do you have pets?
Yes, I do.
Well, did you have pets?
I did, yes.
Okay. Were they with y'all there that day?
Yes, my dogs were with me all the time when I was there.
How many dogs do you have?
I have 2.
And just, what are their names?
Penny and Tess.
And what is the breed?
They are red Boston Terriers.
And are they both disabled?
Yes, Penny is blind and Tess is deaf.
So when y'all went out to smoke on the back porch and drink, I assume, as well, correct?
Yes.
Did y'all take the dogs out?
Oh, yes.
Honestly, her and her attorney are just talking about nothing bad. I wish I had the audio, but you know what? I don't want to get in trouble anyways. But they're just talking. None of this is really relevant. Oh, what kind of dogs do you have? Two Boston Terriers. What the hell does your two Boston Terriers have to do? Her attorney is gaslighting us. And I'm sick of it. You know? I'm sick of it. She and her attorneys. First of all, she gaslit. I believe that she gaslit the hell out of Jorge every day. I believe she was abusive. I believe she was probably the main one instigating altercations between them. And then, ironically, she would call the police. That's why she felt compelled to then come and bail him out the next day, right? And the cases never moved forward. She's a pathological liar. Look at her face right now. And her attorney is just sitting there like, why do we need to know about these dogs? They're completely irrelevant to anything, unless he's going to introduce something with nothing to do with dogs in this case. He's just asking her random stuff. And, you know, the state is just like, come on. Completely irrelevant. It's almost like she has fried the front of her brain, the part that makes you negotiate. It's like it's completely gone. Yeah, I see no empathy. I see no. Look at her expression. And I didn't do this on purpose, but look at how her eyes lag. Like you see a different. Ooh, she gives me the chills. You see like a different energy right there. It's evil. Right? Like the dogs. Were they part of it? Like, were there paw prints on the suitcase? Nothing. Doesn't make any connection. Just move on to the next one. This is buffoonery. She's gonna get no appeal. Like, I can see them saying, like, none of her attorneys were competent. Because this right here, this is some bullshit. Like, he's asking irrelevant. That's like me getting up there, like, so what did you eat that morning? I'm sorry, like, I'm really laughing mostly because this is so freaking stupid. You know, like very stupid. And I don't believe that the dogs followed her upstairs and got in the bed with her. No. I believe the dogs were like, oh, what did she do? Probably barking and shit. Like this lady, she gives me crazy eyes, you know? That lawyer was grabbing at slippery string. He was ready for the guilty verdict. Why did he even try? The dogs probably tried to free him. I believe the dogs were definitely alerting. They were like, oh my goodness, what did she just do? You know, they were probably witnesses. The animals just be standing there. When Carly Gregg deleted her mom, the pets were like, oh, what just happened? This crazy bitch just killed her mom. You know, like, they just inserted the dogs there. I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. Like, I can't believe this is a serious case. Her and her attorney just are not taking this serious. Because you can't smoke in the house. Stupid question. They're just talking. That they're just talking to each other at this point, and none of this is relevant. That's why they keep saying, like, can you just get to the point? Don't do this long, drawn-out thing. Just get to the point, right? What did you do? Why did you do it? How did you get him into it? Patsy, we're never going to get that from this testimony. We're only 20 minutes in, but We're not going to get that. That lawyer sunk her. He established she could remember what she wanted. He was a terrible lawyer. Yeah, he was just saying stuff. Like, the questions he asked were irrelevant. I'm not even going to put that energy out there. But she might be able to get another child just because of how buffoonish this shit is right here. This is crazy. But let's continue.
Is there a place for them to do their business out there?
Yes, I extended our back porch for them to have a little bit of area as opposed to going from a large backyard from my marital home to our little townhome. And they would come out there and do their business, and I could sometimes I would open the gate and then walk them in the back part of our apartment.
So you and George were just going to enjoy the day together?
Correct.
Is it fair to say y'all don't have a lot of money?
Yes.
And so y'all were going to do something there in the home. Y'all weren't going out for dinner or?
Yes, we primarily, I would consider us homebodies as opposed to going out and partying and doing this and that.
Okay. And how long do you think y'all were out that afternoon outside?
A few hours.
All right. Could you tell the jury what y'all did during that time?
We have a dartboard that's out there, and we just had drinks, and we're just really enjoying each other's company and talking about, things upcoming. We both were looking for a job and just kind of, I guess, encouraging and supporting and planning.
Well, now you said he had a job. Was he looking for a job, a second job?
No, the job that he had was very unstable. And at that.
So he was looking for something new?
Yes, at that time, yes.
Okay. And so during that 2 or 3 hours, would it be fair to say that y'all drank the bottle?
Yes.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that y'all were feeling the effects of the alcohol?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, who made the decision to come in?
I did.
Okay. Why did you want to come in?
I felt that George needed a change of scenery.
Okay. So y'all came in, and then did y'all do anything else before he left again? Were y'all doing anything? I know y'all did some arts and crafts. What did y'all do? At some point, he went to get another bottle at Publix.
Yes. I believe it was after it was right before I believe that we had gone inside. Because he called his daughters. I was trying to encourage him to call his family.
Okay. Now, where are his daughters?
His 2 daughters are located in Pennsylvania.
And what are their names?
Anna and Destiny.
And how old are they?
I believe that Anna is in her 30s and Destiny may be in her early 20s.
All right. Does he have any more children?
Yes, he has a son.
And where does his son?
He is in Pennsylvania also.
Okay. So part of that afternoon is y'all came in to call relatives, call family.
No, I had him call outside, just trying to.
Wow, so I just had a little bit of epiphany. Remember, she was talking about the baby mother, right? She said the baby mother was asking for all that money, always calling him. He don't even got a job. Well, honey, he has 3 children he needs to take care of, right? So there's the other thing. He can't support you. He can't split bills with you if he has to pay child support for 3 children too, right? That little job he had, all that money he was making was generally going to his baby mother for child support. The kids were in another state. She had the burden of taking care of him. Yeah, he had to pay child support. So this was, I'm telling you, Jana, this hoe didn't want to, this hoe was like, he don't want to pay, he got to go. That's what it was. And instead of just asking him to leave, she probably was like, nah, F this, I'm going to intimidate him and act all crazy and whatever nonsense she was thinking in her head. But yeah, this is about money. For her, there was a financial component of it. She needed to support her lifestyle. She was getting her little divorce settlement. but that wasn't enough. Okay, she needed more. She needed more. So I don't know what else she was doing. If she was working or what. I don't know if she mentioned any of that. But she's over here talking about, oh, I would tell him what to do with life. What were you doing with life, ma'am? Okay, Miss Intelligent. Right? She's talking about how smart she is. She hates and fears the Torres family because they know who she is. Crazy. Wow. Yep, greed, money. She needed somebody to help supply her entitled lifestyle where she doesn't have to work, right? All she's doing is getting her divorce settlement, and at least until that runs out, she doesn't have to work. And then she got this dimwit that she met at a bar to move in with her, but then instead they fell in love. And I'm not saying dimwit to talk down on Jorge Torres, but he was an unsuspecting man. He had no idea. She was just picking him up just to pick him up. She was a greedy person. When they met at the bar, when the friend introduced them to each other, he probably was like, oh, maybe, y'all could talk, or he can be your roommate or something. So it was financial for her. Maybe she thought, oh, if I get in a relationship with him, we can split bills. You know how many people who aren't as insane as her that I know get into relationships just to split bills? Ooh, let me go get a man so I can go get a mortgage. Like, I understand that, sure. Like, for some people, they have that mindset. But if that's the only thing motivating you, for her, she was just like, okay, now he can't do that for me. He's unemployed, especially. Yeah, get out of here. Yeah, Jorge may have saved the next guy, too. Oh, he definitely did. She was exposed in the end. Everything came out. She even told him, look at my phone. Look at the video proof that I have of him harming me. And the police go, they dig. They find everything she's deleted. And in those videos, they find what turned out to be the smoking gun. Outside of that, they had her word. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they even had enough contact with her for that. But I do know that she had a problem with the baby mother because she kept saying, like, oh, she's always calling and asking for money. Okay, they have 3 children together. You're getting money from your baby dad. You're getting spousal support. Why should she not expect money from a man that she hadn't made children with? And they were married. He bought her drinks at the bar with his wad of cash. She thought he had money. He was a temp worker. Yeah, exactly. He had no stable jobs. He was always jumping. He couldn't stay anywhere, For her, she thought she came up, it was surface level. Ooh, money. He's here at this bar. He needs a place to go. But he also is sort of like attracted to me. Yeah, let's make this work. And they keep trying to make it fit. And it wasn't a good situation. No one will tell me to play hide and seek by getting in a suitcase. Yeah, I think they were drunk. She manipulated that. Right? I think she sort of regularly manipulated him. So he just, was used to it, Just between the fact that she was always calling the police on him, like they were getting into altercations, and then she would call the police and then bail him out the next day. First of all, it's a waste of resources. But also, it's like a tug of war that she's playing with him. Like, I want you, but I don't want you. But I want you, but I don't want you. Manipulating him so he doesn't understand his place with her. Making the emotions even more intense. But let's listen to this little greedy, crazy thief.
I guess boost the mood. And the first daughter didn't answer, and I don't remember the reason I didn't speak to the second one. I believe he did. It was just for a moment.
All right, now whose phone we are using?
My phone.
All right. And is that common for y'all to use that, for y'all to share that phone?
It was, because George said that he didn't have a phone. So it would either be lost or given to him by his mother. So I didn't know he had a cell phone, so we would use my phone.
So it was primarily your phone?
Yes.
Okay. And You took a lot of photographs that were on that phone,
Yes.
videotapes,
Yes.
text messages,
Yes.
phone call.
Yes. He and I both on the phone calls.
So he would use it as well.
Yes.
And that phone, is that the one that was seized in this case?
Yes.
All right, so y'all called his daughters, and then during that phone call period, did y'all also call his brother?
Yes.
Okay, and which brother was that?
John.
All right, now, how many brothers and sisters does George have?
I'm gonna list them if that's okay.
Okay.
It's John, Pharrell, Isaac, Mo, and his sister.
Okay. And do they all live here in Florida?
Yes.
Are they close by?
As far as I know, yes.
What about his parents?
Yes.
They live here as well?
Yes.
Okay. But his ex-wives and his children live up in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Okay. So you called the girls, then you called, or George called his brother.
Yes.
Was that conversation that long?
No, it was not.
And then after that phone call, were y'all inside by this time?
Yes, at this point, I believe that it was a good time to get a change of scenery. So I thought George would be better off inside, and frankly, I didn't want to be outside any longer either.
Okay. So just to get an idea, about this time is when he went to get the second bottle, or did y'all stay inside for a while before he left?
No, from what I recall, I thought the day was over and it was going to be get ready for the evening, for the day. What do you want for dinner? You know, do you have an extra load of laundry that you need to throw in, kind of thing? And that was my understanding. And
This was about 5-ish or something?
I don't remember the time.
Okay. At some point during that time period, did George go to Publix again?
Yes, I thought he was going to be walking to the convenience store, but apparently when he returned, he had gone across the street with my car and my debit card to buy another bottle of wine.
What was your understanding of where he was going?
To the convenience store, walking.
For what?
Cigarettes.
Okay. And you learned obviously that he came back and you learned that he'd used your vehicle
Yes,
and he'd used your debit card
yes,
and he'd brought back a bottle of wine from Publix.
right.
And you saw the Publix video of that.
Wow, and this is another contradiction. So she initially had said, oh, they were having a good time, and so they didn't want to have to go out again. That's why they got wine. Now she's saying he went, took her debit card. I can't keep up with this lady and her mother. Life. I can't keep up with them. When did this story come about? When did this story come about? I can't even keep up with her. Thank you so much, Nancy, for coming and joining the live stream today. I appreciate you. So I like doing shows that you guys like. So I appreciate you guys stopping by and giving your input. Yes, thank you. It's been a journey. I've watched Sarah from day one. Awareness. Appreciate your life. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you and that for being here. Yeah, this lady is just... The detectives were just as frustrated. Listen, that's why he was looking at her like, you know, he was almost like trying to figure out. He's like, you were so outraged when we asked you some things that we asked you. But in fact, here you are making an excuse for what you did. And that's what she does. She lies in the moment. She can't even keep up with what she's lying about. Listen. But it's 9 o'clock, guys. 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you guys know I'm an old lady who wants to be up nice and late. I mean, nice and early. And this is nice and late for me. I got to be up at 5:50. Okay? So I'm going to get out of here. But I am going to go ahead and do a part 2 because this is just too much. Like, I want to actually finish the interrogation and then come to after this part of the trial, because now it's like she just keeps introducing new excuses for, you know, whatever she's being questioned about. I mean, this is why somebody would put her on the stand. I don't understand. So, anyways, thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate you guys showing love here. If you can hit me with a like on the way out, I would appreciate it. Yes, Janet, it was so fun. You know, that's why I was like, you know what? Besides body cam, I want to start doing some other little series. So this is going to be my second set of series. This is episode 1. I do have the thumbnail on some other true crime because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to like cover little stories on the side too, and just keep doing the body cam, which is never going to get old because, I mean, geez, every day they upload crazy body cam, you know. And also I'm going to be working on the FOIA process to get body cam over here. Now, one thing I'm not going to do is expose people in my city when they're having emotional crises and stuff like that. So hopefully, you know, whatever I get is interesting. You know, sometimes in your city, nothing going on. You know, people are getting pulled over for maybe DUIs is the most that happens. Today, when I was coming home, there was a crash. This lady, her car was like completely, you know, busted into the side of the railing. All the airbags were out, and she's just sitting there, like holding her face. Crazy. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate it. So I'm going to send you guys off, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.